Hello everyone, I am Tacit and welcome back to the Puzzle Quest 3 live stream. So we haven't streamed this for a while, figured we do it before we go on vacation for about a week or so. Mostly because by the time we get back, it'll probably be a new version, and so far we've streamed every major version of this game, so I figured we keep up with that tradition and keep doing so throughout the beta. Keep in mind, the game is still in early access, so a lot of things are still subject to change. Also, we are using a BlueStacks emulator, so there will probably be a lot of audio issues and possibly visual issues, particularly with the mic. I have no clue why, but my mic absolutely hates wanting to function with BlueStacks, so if you hear any stuttering or dropped words or anything like that, it's mostly because of my interaction with BlueStacks, and I have no clue why it does it, and until they do an official release on Steam, we're going to have to kind of deal with it, which is also why I haven't really been covering much, and also because everything changes like every single patch, so if I go over any guides, they will kind of be irrelevant in like a month, so I haven't really been bothering to do that until the game becomes a bit more stable. The most recent patch, they added like 1 billion currencies. I have no clue why. But glyphs are now transformed into like 5 different currencies, and 1 per every single type, so like 1 for armor, 1 for weapons, 1 for every individual thing. And they also added 15 crystals, 1 per follower, so you don't need to use the old glyph system anymore. This was a whole mess with how it got rolled out, but hopefully, as of the next patch, it'll be a bit more stable, because there's no really proper way of really farming for them. And speaking about things that don't really have a proper way of farming, they added like 60 relics, 4 per dungeon, which is 1 per every single weapon type, or, you know, for every single gear type within the game, and there's 15 different gear types. I still have 0 total. However, we should be getting a patch in like a week or 2 that will be bringing in the proper way to farm them. Hopefully it actually gives us a decent amount, because based on current drop rates, I have straight zeros, and some of these are like really basic things, like getting a uncommon to rare. I could understand like something like this being like legendary to mythic being a little bit rare, but even if that's super rare, like how are you actually going to get anything upgraded? But anyways, that's still work in progress for them doing that. Aside from that, probably mechanic-wise, the main new change is you can only use 1 of every single spell now. So multiple copies of spells aren't useful, though I'm still saving them just in case. But multiple copies of spells actually do not really do much for you unless you're trying to do like exact chip kill damage, which is relevant sometimes. Also, I keep the lowest rarity of this because the higher rarity actually has a higher chance to destroy columns, and because it's such a low chance, you actually want it not to destroy columns because it kind of ruins your board when it does. But yeah, every hero class is like restricted to this now, so if we go over to like something like Shaman, we're having to use like a build like this because well, for one, we have legendary channel poison, which makes it a little bit helpful, but also because we're restricted to only 1 of each spell, so we kind of have to minimize and try some different builds as far as compared to previous versions where you get to spam whatever the most broken spell is 3 times over with like 1 other spell for damage or to control or for whatever else you want to do. However, Paladin is like S++ tier right now, mostly because it gains barrier off of its special gem thingy. I don't think it actually mentions it here, does it? But, yeah, oh yeah, there it is, grants barrier. But, yeah, whenever you destroy it, it gains barrier. Also, while they're on the board, you gain damage reduction, and that is very useful for not dying. Anything else that's relevant? They kind of changed the drop tables a little bit, which we're kind of going to see as we open these diamonds. So far, we've opened diamonds every single time we've done a stream. Let me just go check our followers real quick, though. They did add crystal chance to Evelyn. They also drastically changed how much food you need for followers, so they're a lot easier to upgrade. You might notice like almost every single one of my followers are pretty much maxed or kind of maxed. The last 5 levels are really, really hard to do, though, with the current system. But aside from that, they're pretty easy to upgrade, which is quite a drastic change compared to before. I'll go evolve Evelyn, not Evelyn, the Mutiny here. Probably want to have her to 45 before I go so I can use her for tickets so that we could passively farm that while we're gone. But anyways, so we got 9 diamonds. You may notice that a lot of my storages are above the limit. That is mostly because if you do pet opens, it'll allow you to exceed the limit, which kind of begs the question, why is there even a limit to begin with? Because I'm pretty sure this is an intended mechanic, whereas the other thing with the limited inventory is also an intended mechanic. It just seems kind of weird. because now we can store as much as we want as long as we don't use keys. Also, you may notice we have a lot of keys because we can't use keys. So, yeah, they're kind of just stacking. And for that same reason, and because gold... oh, yeah, gold doesn't really have a proper sink anymore, nor does food, once we finish doing food. But gold doesn't really have a proper sink because they changed how the offer system works in the current state of the game. Hopefully, this gets balanced again to not be as horrific. But they added a lot more gem and crown-related things, and they made the repick a lot cheaper, but they still made the repick gems. If the repick was gold, that would kind of fix all the issues. However, the big issue here is that it's gems. And because of this, they basically did the worst of both, where they still made the refresh gems, and they made all the offers gem and money related things. So currently there's almost like nothing you get for free, and when they do cost gold, they cost such a small amount. So hopefully the new mode they're adding in 0.36 will fix that or something. 0.36 seems like it's going to be adding a really big game mode, so we'll see exactly how that ends up happening. Oh, how do we have so many spells? Because whenever you open a chest through pets, they exceed your cap. So everything here, you notice we're allowed to open a chest, even though we're exceeding every cap. We can't open chests with keys, but we can open chests with normal stuff, or, you know, when they're through pets. Also, speaking of pets, well, not these guys, but I have no clue why. I really hope they adjust this. But level 100 max diamond chests drop so many mythic runes and scrolls. It is absurd. I have way more than I'll probably ever need through the history of this entire game. Though, hopefully they'll adjust the drop rates at some point. Also, food is useless, so it's like one of the least enticing drops. I forget if I have a dark dragon net, so we'll just keep it because we can. And we'll salvage this guy because obviously we don't want him. He's uncommon. Even rare pets, I'm getting to the point where I almost don't want to keep unless they're like the overpowered octopus thing they still haven't nerfed. And of course, we get a bunch of diamond keys for later. There's a bunch of useless gold we don't need. Oh, also, one other change that they made to level 100 max chests is you tend to only get, or I think only get, the superior shards, which is both a good thing and a bad thing. It makes it so you can focus superior shards a bit more. However, this is a little bit bad because I'm not getting like any other shard because I'm only opening diamonds. If you're wondering why we're only opening diamonds, it's mostly because of legend chance. They have the highest chance, or maybe the only chance, off of diamond chests, and for that reason, we can get like a legend every few days if we just run nothing but diamonds. So that's the main reason why we're running max diamonds, is just to get more legends. We actually have about 6 natural legends, 7? I can't remember exactly. I have 2 spells, Channel Poison and that one really good Frost one. Gosh, stop giving me food. Such a bad drop. Oh, I don't have a rare flail yet. That'll be good for whenever we get around to that. These 2 I already have like a billion copies of, so I might as well savage these. Still quite a few we don't have rare of yet we still keep getting all these other ones. Oh, also, why am I opening these on Paladin? I kind of want to be opening these on, that's still not too late. I scrapped a lot of, what's-his-name spells because they're all pretty bad. But now that you have to run it on him, I actually want to open these on our, I forget what this thing is called. The Frostmate? No, it's called, Necromancer. The Necromancer class. Because now, the way that chests work is they drop, you may notice we're getting dungeon related drops. Oh, that was the other legend spell I was talking about. But you might notice we are getting a lot of dungeon related drops. Basically how drop tables work now for whenever you get a spell is based on the level of the hero class that you open it on, as well as the hero class itself. So right now we'll get Necromancer spells, and since we're a level 50 Necromancer, we'll get every possible Necromancy spell. However, we won't get any of the other class spells, but we'll also get all the dungeon spells. And hey, another diamond key. That's what you want to see. Ore is a little bit more useful than food, but still pretty useless in the current state of the game. Ooh, an epic. Ooh, elven boots in purple. I believe these are technically the strongest boots. And purple, I think, is okay color. Though, speaking of not okay colors, though, Firewalker necklace is basically useless in any color that isn't red. But because it's epic, I guess we'll keep it. But red and maybe blue. But because what's his name does tend to run in both. Like, the only thing you're ever going to use a Firewalker necklace on is Berserker. And Berserker's a red-blue hero class, so if the Firewalker's necklace isn't red or blue, ideally red, then it's kind of pointless. So, yeah, that's not really going to do much. But, hey, it's epic, and we can do some Firewalker interaction. There's actually, it has an interesting interaction. So what Firewalker necklace does, I had a rare of this in the past, and it's been so long since I've gotten another one. It's actually the first one in like a month. But, basically, what Firewalker necklace does is, it upgrades all big red gems by a certain size on the board. Oh, it does get Fire Strike, though. Oh, those are both 2 really good perks. Wow. Okay, its color is awful, but these perks are amazing. But, because you're going to be using it with red, obviously. And Strong is great for power. But it upgrades all big red gems on the board. So if they're a 1 or higher by 2 sizes. So whenever you do a max X, so whenever you're doing like a big channel red into a bunch of other red creation, it'll end up having pretty good value. A big issue right now is there's not a lot of spells that create red. However, there is a ring that does it, and we actually have an epic version of that as well, called the Firewalker's ring. It creates 1 to 4 reds every single turn. There's also a one that does a bigger gem version of it. However, given how reds normally are, I'm pretty sure you're mostly going to be using Firewalkers, unless you just happen to get like an epic or legendary dwarven ring, particularly a legend, in which case, yeah, I guess you would use it. But if you're looking just for sheer amount of red on the board to make Firewalkers work a little bit better, you're likely going to be going with Firewalker's ring to go with the Firewalker amulet, which kind of makes sense, especially if they ever add set bonuses. You would end up getting the set bonus for that as well. Currently, the game does not have set bonuses, but the way the equipment is makes it seem like it's going to get it whenever they finally start doing balancing. So definitely seems like something that will happen, and if not, I definitely want to suggest it because I feel like set bonuses would be pretty fun. Most sets work together anyways, though there are a few that don't. Like the Elven sets is a little bit weird with each other, and a few other ones are kind of weird with each other, like the entirety of Elvens. Also, Elven Charm Epic Plus, probably the most broken thing in the entire game. I don't use it much though because it's better to have barrier, but there's some funny things you can do with Paladin. It's mostly a Paladin thing, but I basically got perfect perks on it right now. Extra starting mana, and it's yellow, which is about what you want it to do since it gains red, yellow mana. Anyways, let me go finish the rest of these chests, and then we can go do a bunch of other stuff. And if anyone has any questions or any you want me to go over, do let me know. And also, hello, Tim and Leelach. I didn't say hello earlier, but I hope all you are doing well. Gosh, we're getting a lot of keys. Normally I don't hit this many keys. At 3 diamonds, that's pretty nice. Useless rune, a useless amount of shards, a okay amount of shards, a useless weapon, a useless pets, and a useless pets. Come on, I want to see 1 legend. We have yet to ever get a legend on stream. We've gotten a couple epics here and there, but I don't recall us ever getting a legend today. Are we still doing a Gems of War stream tonight? Yes, same time as always, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8 hours from now. The same time we always do. It'll be our second to last one before we go on our trip this weekend. Then I'll be gone for about a week. But tomorrow night's stream is the last one for Gems of War, and we're also doing it tonight, of course, at normal time. Runic Belts, I guess we get rid of it. I already have Poison Spirit in a higher level. So get rid of that, get rid of that. I already have this in Epic. I still need 2 slots that have EXP or gold on them, though. I believe it's Shield and Amulet are the only 2 I don't have a EXP or gold on. The reason you'd want this is for whenever you use tickets, it applies all the EXP and gold bonuses you have. So you kind of want to have a full set of EXP and gold bonuses available. Poison Skulls, I believe we already have in rare. I forget if we have that pet, so I might as well just keep it anyways because we can. Get rid of that, get rid of that. Yeah, 2 more. Come on, another epic or a legend. I'll take literally any legend, even a repeat legend. Because if it's a gear repeat legend, it doesn't matter. Though if it's a spell repeat legend, it's kind of meh. So the chance of that happening is very unlikely. Insect Plague, I don't think I have that in rare yet, so that's rather convenient. It's actually a really good spell for green. A lot of damage. The only problem is it's only damage with no board control, and board control is so ridiculously strong. Wow, we got 4 diamond keys. I think that's the most I've ever gotten in a day. 4 out of 9. Oh, also they added an extra chest slot. We didn't already know this. That's how we have 9. It was originally 8 as max, but now it's 9. Elven Bow in yellow. I literally am using that right now. Don't need another one. So all this is useless. Well, then again, what perks does it have? We'll check these perks. It might have better perks than my current yellow one. So the problem is it can get speed, and speed is like one of the worst perks in the entire game. There's actually an argument to be made that speed is literally a negative status effect because it just makes your battle take longer. Why did I go there? I wanted to go to equipment. Let me go see if this thing has anything good on it. Probably not. Let's see. Oh, it has rich. That's technically good. I don't think I have any weapon with rich, oddly enough. Also, some noteworthy weapons we've gotten in the past. For one thing, let me go on to Paladin again because we're mostly going to use Paladin this stream. But last patch, basically anything that was leveled already ended up getting an increase in its rarity. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to utilize this much, but we were able to get a few pretty key ones. One is I was able to get my rare ring up to epic before the patch ended, so that was nice. We had another rare epic ring, though it did cost a lot of resources to do so. This one that was already epic moved to legendary, which is pretty cool. So now we get a little bit more mana there. Probably the most useful thing, and I wish I could utilize this for more things, is our Savior Helm is now mythic. The reason for this is that we got it to level 50 off the previous leveling system, and now they made the leveling system so much more complicated, and without the things to actually do Ascension, it's literally impossible to actually ascend anything in version 0.35. That'll be fixed in version 0.36 when they add this new game mode. However, for this entire version, it's basically impossible to ascend anything, because the previous system was a lot easier, and now it's like ridiculously hard. But hopefully next patch will fix that properly. But anyways, this thing was a legend that ended up getting upgraded to Mythic because we had it at level 50, and is probably the best helm in the entire game, so pretty convenient. The next best probably being Dragon Helm maxed, which unfortunately I did not have a level 30 of, so it didn't move to Epic. I just have the rare one. But and these are just basic epics we got. But yeah, Savior Helm Max, pretty nice. Creates 5 big V gems at the starting board. This has 2 main synergies, well actually several. Anything that ever increases based on if you take a big gem, it has synergy with that. Probably its biggest synergy is Necklace. Whenever you take a big 3, and it's a big 5, so it works. Whenever you take a big 3, it ends up having a chance to barrier, and this is very good for barriering, particularly on classes that don't naturally have a way to barrier. The reason why I upgraded the green version, even though I had the option to upgrade a few different versions, is because the green version can be used for what's his name? The Shaman. Shaman hero class's special gem ends up creating a big 3 gem whenever you take it off the board, which is perfect synergy for Dwarven Necklace, so I figured it would be the best color to have it for. It's probably always going to be viable unless they change the size of the gem you need, though even if they did change it to 5, you can still end up utilizing it pretty well. And the other synergy that it has is Hammer. Hammer is actually probably the main intended synergy for it, especially since it's from the Dwarven set itself. Well, then again, the necklaces as well. But Dwarven Hammer has a chance to stun, 30%, and it goes to 90% if you get it mythicked. But it has a 30% chance to stun for 1 turn whenever you take a big gem of a specific color. So it has some synergy there. Though Savior Gem does do it randomly, so the chance you specifically get it on the color you need is 1 out of 6, because there's 5 colors and the skulls. So very rarely we'll actually hit the right one. However, getting that stun on turn 1 is obviously pretty devastating, since a turn 1 stun is so ridiculously strong. So it has some synergy there. Overall, I don't feel like the hammer is too good. Strongest weapon currently in the game is probably Broadsword. I'm not sure why, but it always keeps giving me the best weapons in red. The main reason why Broadsword is so good is it gains a lot of power. For whatever reason, they did change Longsword's effect to be the same as that, though. So if we go over to our longsword, we do have an epic longsword that gains 10 power when matching 5 or more of poison gems. This should be 20 though, because it scales seemingly but 10 by level, which would make it the same weapon as the other weapon, which doesn't make much sense why longsword and broadsword are now the same weapon. But that will probably be changed next patch. This used to be its previous effects on longsword, like some kind of dark ball thing. I hope they add this back, because this is a really unique effect. It wasn't functioning properly, but it still has the text and it's kind of broken. But hey, early access, they're still fixing things and changing things. But yeah, they made this weapon a lot weaker by giving it this other perk, but I really hope they bring this perk back on some kind of future weapon, because there's currently nothing that does exactly what it does, and it's a pretty nice effect, and one of the strongest, if not the strongest in the entire game. The effect they gave it is still a pretty strong one. It's basically the same effect as Broadsword, just not coded correctly. But we'll see if they change that as well, because currently Broadsword and that is the same thing, just with the other one not functioning correctly for how much power it gives. It gives 10 at all levels, where it should be 10, 20, 30, 40, like Broadsword is. Also, this bow looks really cool. We're not using it mostly because it has speed, which is very unfortunate. Speed is such an awful perk. Oh yeah, that reminds me. Let me go change my bow to rich, because our current bow has parry, which I'm not really using much, so I'd rather have the extra gold. So we'll just go with that, since we need it anyways for the dungeon we're going to be doing. Bow has a pretty cool animation. I didn't use bow until we got it, but pretty nice. Also, one other thing that got to upgrade was our Bloodfang Twin Blade. We ended up spending 1,500 gems in order to get an epic weapon last patch, the previous patch. We then upgraded it to max because it was our only epic weapon at the time. And hey, now it's legendary. One nice thing about that is it does have smart for 4% extra XP gain. Every other perk on it is pretty horrible though, but it does have some synergy for Berserker if nothing else, because Berserker is red-blue, and this is red, and that is blue. So if nothing else, there's some Berserker synergy. I have so many red weapons. Also, I didn't upgrade any of my shields, so unfortunately I don't have a legendary shield. I also don't have a purple shield, oddly enough. And I'm just using the Firewalker one because of HP and strong. Most of the perks on the shields are actually pretty underwhelming, oddly enough. So I'm mostly just using them for their little stat thingies. Also, what are these boots again? Oh, it's just some healing. It gains green and yellow whenever we match 5 or more. Meaning this boot in anything but green or in yellow is probably useless. Especially since the knight's boots are more so the purple boots if we wanted to actually use them. Also, I'm not sure why I still use royal boots. It keeps gaining additional speed, which is sometimes bad. And if we did this, it actually wouldn't gain speed and would still gain the XP. I guess I like it on occasion. Sometimes you need more time for your turn. Anyways, let me go fix my chest situation, because we have 0 chests right now, and I should probably put something there. And then we'll go do dungeons. Anyways, so chest situation. I guess we'll just do diamonds. Actually, oh no. Do I want them synergized to be later at night? You know what? We're going to set a bunch of iron. Because while I'm on vacation, I probably want to be claiming my chests after the reset. So I actually want to set my timer a little bit later into the day. And the way to do that would be to do a bunch of iron right now. Only problem with doing this, whenever you change timings on your chests, you kind of need a 4th set of pets. And I do not have a proper 4th set of pets. We only really have 3 proper sets currently, with no proper 4th set, which is kind of funny given that we have almost 100 pets. Yet still don't have a proper 4th set. But that's mostly because we don't have the food to upgrade them. But we'll do a bunch of iron. Irons aren't really too good. They mostly just give a bunch of... the main reason why you would open a wooden or iron is mostly for the upgrading material to get weapons and other equipment upgraded. Main issue with them is they don't really drop anything of good rarity. So they're normally not too worth upgrading or doing, but if nothing else, we have so many of them right now that we might as well. We have enough keys that we definitely want to do it at some point. Also, this menu is getting so ridiculously crowded. They definitely need some kind of way to deal with it a little bit better. Oh, also, our pets got upgraded. These were the only 2. Unfortunately, I was not able to get our legendary pet up to level 50 before the reset. This could have been a mythic, though it's a pretty bad mythic even if we got it to mythic, because all it has is recovery time and mission time. Bonus key chance is by far the most useful perk, which is why we have these 2 upgraded. This one has a 25.2% and this one has a 21.4%, which once the optical things end up getting nerfed, they're going to be some of the better ones, particularly the rat. I think the rat might actually be the best overall one. Either the rat or the plague, the pus bag. One of the 2 are going to be the best once the thing gets nerfed. Man, anyways, let's go set a bunch of these. We kind of want decently high timings on these, so I'm actually going to use the tentacle, I think, even though he has a little bit of a lower key chance. Getting a key off of iron obviously doesn't really matter too much. It's helpful, but definitely not as useful as if we get an iron off of a diamond, that's for sure. So we'll just use a lot of our quicker ones for now, I guess, since mission time's a little bit more important than the other factor. So we don't want to have any low mission times here. Oh, you're pretty good, and you're kind of okay. Oh, actually, Zappy's really good, so we'll do Zappy. I don't want to do that one all the way at the bottom, though. He has a really low speed. Actually, these will probably open before the stream ends as well, so we'll be able to get another chest cycle. We'll probably be streaming for at least a couple hours. We're doing quite a few dungeons, so... Okay, I just need 2 more with a quick speed. And we'll be good to go. Speed and key chance are basically the only 2 that matter. Recovery time in the current state of the game is very useless because it gives the same amount relative to the other things. Recovery time needs to be like triple the amount that it currently gives in order for it to actually be viable to use. Okay, now I just need a really quick time from these bottom ones. I guess we'll use one of the you, because you're one of the highest we have currently. And he's about synergized with that. Alright, there we go. There's our chest. We'll let them go. And marinates to give us our drop. Also, I can't claim this because we have no inventory to do it for. I assumed this would also exceed cap, but apparently it doesn't. The only way you can exceed cap is by doing the pets through the chests. However, we can't open keys, and apparently we can't take objects from followers, which means this vacation, I'm mostly just going to be using Evelyn and Mutiny, though in all fairness, that's probably what we'd be using regardless anyway, so not really much of a difference there. Also, we got so much food, I can actually go and upgrade Mutiny a bunch. Though then again, we do have an offer in the guild. Let me see if we have any buys left on it, because I might want to do that since if they don't do an update that fixes food next week, we're going to have a lot of excess food, and while I'm on vacation, it's a lot easier just to make sure we upgrade our followers than it is to make sure we go log in on the right time to be able to actually buy the thing in guild, which might already be bought out, which would be problematic, because I wouldn't be checking it like right after reset most of the time. Nope, it's already bought out. The war one isn't, but I'll let the guild take it. But yeah, food, there's nothing to use food on is the biggest issue with food in the game. Once you've gotten all the followers upgraded, there's nothing left to use them on. And if they don't fix it by next patch, yeah, it's going to be very problematic. It better be fixed next patch because there's going to be an increasingly high amount of people burning through food. There's already quite a few people burning through food currently. Luckily, we're not at the point of doing that yet. I think we're about like 1 week off or so before we start having to waste food and have nothing to use it on. But hopefully next Tuesday we'll fix the food situation. And if not, there will be a lot of mentions of it on the forum because we probably won't get another major patch for at least a couple weeks after that. Anyways, where are we? Let's go actually finally do a dungeon. Now that all of the inventory maintenance is done, which can take quite a bit of time sometimes. Of course, we were talking about a bunch of other stuff, but that took like a solid 20 minutes, pretty much. Though we were talking a bunch, so that made it take quite a bit longer than it normally would have. Obviously, we just get in the chests, get in, get out, and fix them with marks, and normally that would take like 15 minutes. Your other dailies in the current state of the game take like 30 minutes, mostly just doing PvP. And there you go. It's basically like an hour of dailies if you just do diamond chests constantly. Though we do need a lot more diamond marks, that's for sure. I think to go through the entire vacation, I would have to do about 3,500 diamond marks before I go. Almost 4,000. So yeah, we still need a lot of diamond marks. We're not going to get them all this stream, but we need to make some progress on it. If nothing else, we could still use the tickets and stuff to fill our slots, which is one of the reasons for hoarding the tickets, since we could just fill them in and boom, be good to go. Anyways, hello Hung, hello Wushka, and hello Nicholas. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's game. You do have a way to increase your time by quite a bit. There are various effects that do so. They're not particularly useful. And on PC, you tend to have enough time because it's a lot easier to take your moves. I do find that on mobile, it's a lot more convenient to have a higher time, but it's definitely not required in order to do all your moves. Oh no, we didn't get barrier. We're dead. No, unless you got enough mana. Please tell me you got enough mana. Yeah, you got enough mana. Okay, we're not dead. Saved. Saved by him having an awful first ability. And now we just infinite. So the current build we're doing is, these are all rares by the way too, so, well actually the other thing's common, so even easier to get. But we're using Channel Light, which is mostly for yellow creation, though it also blinds. Blind ends up reducing physical stats effects by, or sorry, physical damage by 50%. Why won't it bring the thing up? That's weird, is it broken? There it goes. Oh yeah, you have to hold it, forgot. But yeah, it deals half combat damage, so whenever you like take a skull or anything, it does it by half. These are pretty good because it reduces down to ridiculously high damage, and it can sometimes make you live, though not when we have poison on us. So that does that. This does a bunch of damage while creating some yellow, and it now creates the correct amount as of this most recent patch. They also fixed a few other things like Ice Storm and a few others. They also broke a bunch of other things, so it kind of evened out. This does some fire damage, which you can utilize to, of course, do something different than light. Though light damage normally is better to do. Light and purple damage are the best in the game, mostly because they're a lot more stagnant and it's easier to calculate how much damage they're going to do, whereas all these other ones are quite a bit more variable in how much damage they're going to do. But basically it converts a bunch of red to yellow, which is kind of convenient, and we already did that. And though it does have a bit of a glitch when doing it against like the a couple enemies that create red, because you can end up getting the reds connected and then it makes like a locked-in gem. It has a weird interaction. Hopefully it'll fix that at some point, though I'm pretty sure next patch will not address it because it's a little bit of a complicated issue. But anyways, because the order in which it does the actions. But and this other one just does a bunch of damage. We actually want it not to destroy columns. It has such a low chance of destroying columns that we actually want it not to do so, mostly because we kind of expect it won't, so we kind of want it to not. Though occasionally it does, which is kind of annoying. Also, this thing is ridiculously easy for Paladin to kill because it creates yellow every single time we attack it. So basically our entire board is going to be yellow, which makes this pretty convenient. Oh, we already killed him. Whoops. Oh well. I think we already have a stun on board. Always want to make sure you get those stuns. And that's why we have the backup barrier. We technically don't need barrier. It's good to have a backup plan just in case, you never know. Always good to have. It's also why we run the Dwarven Amulet instead of the other one that allows us to do our abilities over and over again. The main reason being is this is a lot safer for turn 1. The biggest issue with max difficulty battles currently is surviving turn 1, because there's not really too many viable ways to do so. So you generally want to be able to survive turn 1. The main alternative, if they nerf literally every single piece of gear and everything that could possibly do it, would be shielding, which is why I've been upgrading shielding as well for block chance, because you would need a certain amount of durability and hope you randomly get blocked at the start of battle. And if you end up doing that, you'll have enough durability to survive turn 1 even without anything else. I believe there's already a person in my guild that has the capability of doing that, though I'm pretty sure it's just him. I'm not sure if anyone else in the entire game has the capability of doing so, but it is possible to tank a hit on max difficulty. You just need to get a block and have a really high armor value. Like I can block down to about 2,300, I believe, which we're somewhat close to having enough durability to live that, though not quite yet. Let's see. Also, there was a question I didn't answer. Where are we going? I'm going to Chicago. Well, technically somewhere near Chicago, not technically Chicago, but I normally just say Chicago because it's easier to say. Yeah, I'm mostly just going to be visiting some friends, and we're going to be having an E3 watch party, which that'll be kind of fun. I've never actually watched the entirety of E3. I've seen parts of it, normally just Nintendo's part, maybe a few others. But yeah, we're pretty much just watching that and having a bunch of fun, doing a bunch of gaming. Normal fun stuff. Let's see. Any guess for when the new game mode will be coming in? Likely next Tuesday. They already did 2 little mini updates that did a bunch of assets. Though I'm pretty sure next Monday or Tuesday is the time of the patch. That isn't confirmed, but is the most likely time that they will do the patch. Oh, also, the reason we're specifically using bow, by the way, I'm not sure if I explained that yet, but every single dungeon has a specific weapon that you need to use 100 times, and we're currently doing this one, because we haven't done this one yet, and this one is specifically for bow. I have done currently half of them within the game. There are a couple people that have finished literally all of them. I have not played the game enough to bother doing that yet, though obviously whenever you are on, you want to be doing progress towards it. I probably should have went for barrier there, I mean a stun. We could have went for stun, but we got greedy for damage. It's not really going to matter, though, because we currently have barrier. I feel like barrier is going to get nerfed. There's almost no way barrier is not going to get nerfed. It's going to be reduced down to like 75% or 50% reduction or something. There's no way they're going to keep it max reduction with how the game is balanced. I'd be very surprised if they do. That or they need to add more ways of multi-hitting, if nothing else. Like, multi-hitting would fix it. That's what fixed it in Gems of War. Like, in Gems of War, it protects against a whole instance of damage, but whenever you get hit by a multi-hit, it only works against 1 instance of damage. Currently, it actually blocks an entire multi-hit in this game. For example, if the enemy has a barrier, and you end up multi-hitting by taking, let's say we're using yellow, and we have 4 yellow, so we'll hit 4 times. A single barrier will actually protect against all 4 instances of damage. But if they made it how it works in their other game, in Gems of War, where it only protects against 1 single instance of damage, then it would be quite a bit more balanced if they made some of the AI have a multi-hit. Because the other issue right now is, even if that was the case, currently no AI has a multi-hitting ability, or multi-hitting auto-attack. Which if they change that, then that would kind of fix barrier as well. Because if we got hit like twice right now, we'd be like almost dead. The barrier would have protected against 1/2 of it, but then we would have gotten hit by like a 1,500 or something. Because I believe he normally hits about 3,000 something. Yeah, because he hits double whatever that is because of the difficulty between gear difference. So he'd hit like a 3,300, which is pretty much what I said. So if he divided that into 2 hits, it would have been a 1,700, one of which would have hit on barrier, and the other one would almost killed us, but wouldn't have killed us yet. So he still would have been alive, but with a lot more damaged. Let's see, I'll take this for now. Yeah, Paladin's pretty much the only hero class that exists within the game currently. It's mostly because of barrier spam. It is possible to do max difficulty dungeons on every single hero class, though it's just so efficient doing it on Paladin that there's really no point in doing it on anything other than Paladin. Where's that move? Right over there. Also, it's kind of convenient when you get an auto board. There's currently no way to auto end your turn unless you make yourself have no possible moves left on the board. And while this isn't really consistent, it is nice when it happens because it speeds up the timer. Because instead of having to wait out the entire timer, it instantly ends the timer, which I really wish was just a normal function. Because the timer gets way too long sometimes, especially with the boots I'm using right now. Though I do like using them just in case we need more time for our turn. Because if we really want to, we can just use dark boots and still get EXP without having the timer thingy. But the big issue is sometimes you don't want all that time, and now we're just sitting here doing nothing. And there's currently no way to force end it, which would be a very nice feature, but currently is not one. Well, they'll probably add it at some point, I would hope. Because if you start getting that really high, especially if you do an ability that has the capability of gaining speed, you can end up waiting for like literal minutes over the course of a battle. If you take the entire dungeon duration and how much time you have to wait for the timer. Because now we're going to have to wait like 2 seconds for it. But yeah, I really hope next game mode ends up adding some end-game content. It definitely seems like it's going to. I sure hope it's not one where it's only a limited time, like X amount per day. Because they have done that a lot for Gems of War, and given the kind of resources that you're going to be getting from it, it does seem like it might be like that. But I do hope it's some kind of end-game content where you can keep doing it over and over again, and it just sinks food and or gold. Because one issue that this game has right now, too, is there's very little use for gold. I still am taking gold right now because you can use it to get a little bit more marks. But aside from that, there's like almost nothing to use gold on. And it kind of just sits at max capacity, which is rather unfortunate. And with all the other changes that they made this patch, it definitely seems like next patch will be doing something with gold. So hopefully the new game mode will sink a lot of it. Okay, I can make every single gem a yellow gem. I might need to screenshot this. I don't think we've ever gotten a full board yet, have we? Definitely not on stream. Oh wait, it's not enough. No, and it's the auto turn thing I was talking about. Whenever you don't have any moves left, it'll auto take your turn skipping the timer, which is very time efficient to do, though very hard to get the setup for. Realistically, unless you have like legend and mythic everything, unless you're fighting an enemy that creates more of your gem, it's not really going to happen. There are quite a few that you can do that against, though. The red stinger that's in the final chapter you can do it on. The yellow scorpion, which is in this chapter, and a few others you can do it on with paladin, or any yellow build, obviously. The plague doctor thing can end up doing it. It creates a ridiculously high amount of green, and you can end up doing it off of that. So there are quite a few ways you can end up doing it. I'm not sure if every color has an option, though. I don't think blue has an option. I think every other color has an option. Blue and purple actually might not. Purple, I think, can only kind of somewhat do it off of the final boss in the game. But even then, it's not really that consistent. So, only red, yellow, and green have the capability of doing it. Two of which are Paladin's colors. I wonder why Paladin's overpowered. Also, we just salvage every chest, by the way. Let's let me go on power now. I always like doing it a little bit preemptively so I don't accidentally go over. And powering on a dungeon is way too expensive. It needs to be like half the cost it currently is. I'm not sure why it's 11,000 just for a small amount of marks. Like, we get 3 stacks of marks just for completing out the dungeon. But if we spend 11,000 gold, which is a lot of gold, we only get 1 additional mark stack. Which is pretty small relative to it. Also, we definitely don't want to see as many of these dogs. We don't really have any good way to kill the dogs. These purple ones we do extra damage on with the yellow. The scorpions create us 1 billion gems. And that thing takes less damage from this and doesn't really do anything. So that dog is kind of annoying. Luckily, Terror doesn't currently affect Barrier. So Terror doesn't affect where any positive stats effects you have are reduced by 50%. To my current understanding, it does literally nothing. Same as how Withering does pretty much nothing or literally nothing. Which is kind of weird, but it is the way it currently is. So we're actually going to stagger our barrier here. So it's something you can end up doing with Paladin on the many list of overpowered Paladin things. Because you can literally just leave a thing on the board, and now we have 10% reduction, 10% per thing that's still on the board. And also, on top of that, we could just take it at a later time to go gain barrier. We want to deliberately keep it on the board if we can. Oh, now we can't. Fail. Not too big a deal, though. And now he takes less damage from this because it's fire damage against the water, which obviously does less. Half less, actually, which is quite a bit less. Luckily, we got a stun, so we still get to keep our barrier. Though even if we didn't, actually, then again, yeah, never mind. The barrier gets placed before then, so the stun's actually useful. We wouldn't have kept the barrier otherwise. He's also blinded right now, which would make him do 50% less auto attack damage, which is basically the only thing they do. And a lot of things have a really bad first ability. Though this one does have a good first ability. I would mention that on the only one in this entire battle that has a good first ability. But the Scorpion thing does like a blind poison, which we've already seen, which is very useless. This guy just does Frost, which is pretty useless. Though, if I'm not mistaken, one thing I have noticed while I was doing this dungeon a couple times, I believe Frost actually makes your animations move slower, which kind of makes sense, but is also annoying because it literally makes the battle take longer. Though it is kind of funny that they would specifically code that. I'm not sure if I'm going crazy and it just looks like I'm just overthinking it and it just seems like it's making it go slower. But I am pretty sure if you are frozen, your animation actually moves slightly slower. It moves like 0.25 slower or something. Like, it's noticeable enough that it's like, yeah, it's moving slower, but not so much that it would be annoying, though it's still annoying. Anything that slows down the battle is annoying. Yeah, I still use the boots that gain more speed. It's mostly because with this build, we auto end the turn quite a bit. Just in case we happen to need the time to not die. It's kind of convenient. It's also better if you're playing on mobile. which right now we're playing on PC, obviously, but if you're playing on mobile, it's a little bit more convenient to have more speed, because the chance of you misclicking on a small screen is a lot more likely compared to on PC. Well, it's still possible to misclick on PC as well. That's a lot less likely. Oh, also, bow is actually a really inefficient weapon to be using. We have to use it for this kingdom or dungeon because that's what's associated to it. However, you normally don't want to be using bow or axe. The reason for this is they have a little bit of a light effect right there, as you can see. And it delays the battle by about 1 second, 2 seconds every single time it happens. And it happens every single time you take any amount of skull off the board, even if it's literally only one off a destroy. Oh, also, one of the main reasons why we're doing all these dungeons, well, other than the fact I need marks for when we go on vacation, but to run chess. But also we got the 4th mark stack there. But we gain power whenever we do these dungeons, which is the main gimmick for actually doing them, other than the normal concentrated chest drop. So there's two main reasons. One is the chest drop specifically drop from a certain drop table, and while it is possible to get other things, it is a higher chance that you'll be getting stuff like this from the drop table whenever you open these chests. However, the main other gimmick of why you'd want to do all these dungeons is the amount of power that you can end up gaining, a pretty substantial amount as well. So if we go over to our tavern and look at the amount of power that we've gone all in on our level up system, which we're about to gain a level on, you can see that we've gone all into damage. I did extra damage chance initially, and then it's like, oh wait, power is actually more damage. So I just went all in on power. Hopefully we'll get a reset option for it eventually. Armor is like the only thing worth doing there. But anyways, you can see we have 26% power here, which would be 28% if we put the other one in there. However, if you look at all the power we got from dungeons, we're at 32.1%, which just got moved up by 0.1%. So currently we're doing the kingdom, or dungeon, I mean, of... I'm so used to Gems of War terminology. But I still keep calling honor glory as well. Glory is called honor in this game, but it's basically the same thing as glory. But anyways, so you can see here we end up doing 50 dungeon runs, and after we do 75, boom, we get more power. And every single time we use a bow here, boom, we gain more power every 10. And up to 100 we end up doing here. It's not really worth going much beyond that because you need so many more runs. Like, for example, right here, after doing 100, you need 250 runs, which obviously isn't really worth doing unless you really want to farm the location for whatever drops they have, just for the chests. So basically, you want to do 100 in every single one. And you can tell which ones we've done 100 in because we have 28 next to them. So we've currently done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Also, one nice thing that they did add in the most recent patch, which one of many things I think I still haven't mentioned yet. I think I've almost mentioned everything. But they added easy mode. So, actually, this is a bad location to show easy mode, but let's go to like a lower dungeon. Like, let's say this one. This one's kind of a mid-range dungeon. So, right here, you can see that it's now on easy difficulty. Before, you'd have to do it on normal, which would have forced it to level 50. Now you can do it on whatever level the actual difficulty was when you did it for the final battle in the campaign. So, ends up working out quite nicely, because if you were able to do it in the campaign, you could do it again on easy mode. So, it makes dungeons a lot more accessible earlier on in the game. It gives almost 0 marks, though, but it still allows you to get dungeon chests, if nothing else, which allows you to still focus down all the normal drops early on in the game. That's taking quite a while to load, probably because we're streaming. But normally it loads like instantly. But yeah, it allows basically participating in dungeons earlier on in the game, because before that was kind of hard to do without making like an all account and everything. But now with easy mode, it's a lot easier to do, which is quite a nice addition. But you can also exploit it because easy mode still counts as a dungeon win, counting towards your achievements. So you can literally just be running everything on easy. Main reason I'm not doing that is because we need dungeon marks for when I go on vacation, so I have enough marks to run the entire time. So still trying to farm those up. Anyways, let's keep rolling with it. Plus, we get more HP this way anyways. Oh, sorry, I did not want to keep that as empowered. We will run through all of our gold very quick if we keep that one empowered. I said, hello, Imperial! Welcome! You're still on the fence on this game? Yeah, I'm still hoping that it improves. We're still giving a lot of feedback on it, and hopefully it'll be a solid game by the time it gets launched. They're still making some very questionable decisions with it that they're doing regardless of our feedback. So we'll see exactly what happens of the game. But overall, I personally have been enjoying it a lot. There's definitely a very large lack of balance in this game. They still haven't done a major balance patch yet, though, so I'm hoping the very first balance patch kind of fixes that. However, there is like a nearly non-existent balance in this game. Like, aside from a few equipment, I'm literally just running, right now we're running max difficulty dungeons with level 1 rares currently, which is pretty broken. let's see. Yeah, I'm still pretty hyped for the new game mode that they're adding next patch. I just don't hope it has. I hope it doesn't have an energy system, or if it does, it has like an indirect energy system, in that it uses like gold or food or something like that. Because if it uses some kind of other, like, hey, you can only do like X amount of these per day kind of thing, it'll be kind of a little bit annoying. Because of the way that the game mode seems, it would be very beneficial if you could infinitely farm it. But it might not be infinite farmable. I don't mind it for some things, though. Like, side events and Gems of War is fine that it uses an energy system, because you don't even need that much energy anyways. You can almost do it with the free amount of energy it gives in most situations, if you have a really active guild. And in the case of, like, PvP that it does in this game mode, which has limited energies, as well as the daily bounties, it's not really that big a deal that something like that is energy-based. Because that's kind of the whole intention, is that you, hey, log in and come do these battles. And if they didn't do that, it would kind of encourage you to just constantly keep doing PvP over and over again. Like, literally, almost no other game mode would be worth doing if you could do infinite PvP battles while gaining glory in this game. I mean, honor. It's something that they kind of discovered with Gems of War. Because for the longest time, PvP was like the only farming location until Explore 12 came into the game, which is basically like dungeons in this game. But until that ended up coming in Gems of War, pretty much everyone just did PvP over and over and over again, because there was no limit to how much you could do per day. And it was just so good to farm. Which kind of makes me think whatever this new game mode's going to be will be a limited amount of battles, unfortunately. But depending on how it gets implemented, it could be okay doing that. Generally, I don't like energy systems, but for side content, I don't really mind, as long as the main content of the game isn't energy systems. That's why things like Raid, Shadow Legends, and stuff like that will never get into. Absolutely hates energy systems that are applied to literally everything in the game. If it's just some daily stuff, I don't mind, because then it creates a daily system, which works quite nicely. Like, Gems of War has a really solid daily system. And hopefully this game will kind of get to that point. But hopefully it won't be too long. If you do literally every daily in Gems of War, it could take like a little over an hour. Like if you do like all the dungeons, all the 3 arena runs and everything, like that alone, just the dungeons and 3 arena runs could take an hour, and the other stuff takes like a half an hour. And then whatever weeklies you want to do. By this game, current dailies take, you can do all the bounty marks, which you get 4 or 5 if you do the one little gem thingy. They end up reducing the price for the first one, so sometimes it's viable to do one if you see a silver or gold. But the 4 or 5 bounties that you do every single day take around, depending on which ones you do, they take anywhere from 5 minutes to about 30 minutes. And while 30 minutes might sound a little bit longer, one of the main ones that you do it with is PvP. 30 minutes takes about, or PvP takes about 30 minutes to do with the amount of battles that they give you. However, you can normally get your daily bounties done simultaneously while doing them. So it normally takes only technically about 30 minutes to do both, even though individually they could take a little bit longer. But if you do both of them side by side, it normally takes like 30 minutes or less. And then the only other daily you'd really have is check your chests and check your thingies ever so occasionally, but that's basically like claiming tribute in Gems of War. So we just gained a level. Of course, leveling starts taking longer and longer the higher you get, which makes sense. And you mostly just use it for additional perks. Right now, we're gaining more armor to not die with. Very useful stats. Main reason we go into armor and not more HP is mostly because this gives 5% and Vitality only gives 2%. And armor helps us not die. Resistance is actually really bad. Basically, once we get armor to 50, we just want to go into Vitality, because both of these help you survive turn 1. Whereas resistance currently doesn't really have much of a point in the game. Everything hits so hard with spells that they're basically going to kill you anyways if you don't have barrier or some kind of reduction on them like Hex. So, yeah, resistance doesn't really do much. You also get a lot less resistance compared to armor. And even though it has the 5% similar to armor, it's just better to go all in on armor. And then once armor's maxed, you go into Vitality. Is basically the plan there. So for basically the strategy for each of these, offense, you basically want to go all in on power or all in on starting mana, one or the other. Neither is really wrong. Starting mana can help you with PvP in order to get max on leaderboard, though I'm pretty sure gear will be able to cover that once we get higher level gear and everything, once we can farm it up a little bit better. But overall, in the current state of the game, it's pretty much fine going either way. The starting mana has been bugged quite a bit, which is why I haven't been going into it and just been doing power. For defense, the strategy is definitely all in on armor, then go into Vitality. For ice magic, generally you're going all in on block or all in on health bonus. Main reason I'm going all in on block is because It's basically mitigation. So having a higher block chance will allow us to do our block then, and then that block will reduce the amount of damage, which is essentially just damage mitigation onto how much damage we'd be taking, and it works on both physical and spell-related damage. Main reason we don't want to do health bonus is because we're not doing vitality, and by the time we get armor max, we'll also have block chance max, so that means by the time we start upgrading vitality, we would also simultaneously be upgrading health bonus. So that ends up working out pretty well. As far as poison, we're just kind of going evenly into crit chance and crit damage amounts. Main reason being I have a pretty good weapon for crit chance as well as good gloves for crit chance, so you kind of get enough. So I've kind of been mixing both. I'm not sure boss damage even works correctly currently, but I'm doing boss damage, which makes you supposedly do more against the 2 elites, the 4th and 6th battle of a dungeon. However, to my understanding, it is currently not doing any additional damage at all, but whenever that functions correctly, that would be beneficial. And for this, healing bonus is basically non-existent because having a better healing bonus means almost nothing because the HP values are too small relative to how much the enemy hits. So healing bonus is kind of pointless, and coin bonus is also pretty pointless because there's no proper gold sync, so might as well go all in on yellow. Plus yellow is the paladin is the strongest hero class in the entire game, so even more reason to go into yellow. The reason I go into purple instead of melee resistance is because purple and yellow are actually just 2 strongest colors in the entire game due to the fact that they do normal amount of damage to literally everything and double damage against one specific type, in the case of dark light, in the case of light dark. So generally speaking, these are the best 2 elements in the entire game, and pretty much the only 2 you'd ever be using, making paladin and assassin pretty much like way above every other hero class in the entire game due to how damage is done based on weaknesses, and the fact that these 2 basically have no weaknesses while also doing double damage to the opposite. And even if they only did half damage to the same one, it still wouldn't really matter too much if they did balance it that way. It'd still be viable to use these due to the amount of base damage that it does to everything else. But with how it currently is with the 1x against their same color, it's by far the 2 strongest colors in the game, and obviously Paladin is the absolute strongest. But anyways, so yeah, let's keep doing dungeons. If you guys want me to go over anything else, mess with anything else, do let me know. Otherwise, mostly going to be dungeon grinding. Because I need to get as many marks as we can before I go on vacation. I haven't really had much time to farm, so I figured we'd do a farm stream for once. I haven't been streaming Puzzle Quest 3 barely at all lately. Mostly because I have to use blue stacks. I really hate using blue stacks. Luckily, whenever we get a Steam release, we obviously won't need to. Unfortunately, there is none yet. I gotta deal with blue stacks and all the annoyance of using it. Also, how's the audio, by the way? I know it has had a lot of issues in the past running on blue stacks. Hopefully it's not too bad, though. Interesting. I wonder if that actually affects our amount of power we gained. I don't think it did. We currently have 182. Let's see if it's any different when we have it when it's not terrored. It's gonna be hard because we're gonna be terrored for going to a few turns. Plus, we'd actually have to get another heroic. But yeah, I would say the biggest issue currently with this game, other than the very exceedingly lack of balance that they'll be getting around to at some point, is mostly the lack of endgame content. Obviously, right now it's mostly just dungeons. It does seem like next patch is going to be adding a lot of that, so that's pretty good. So at least they know they're kind of missing that, and they're like, oh yeah, we're going to do that next. So that's kind of good, but it definitely needs more endgame content for sure. Main thing is lacking. Like currently, the main content of the game is basically you just complete out storyline, and then like that's it. Like, there's not too much beyond that currently, but it is something that they're obviously going to be patching into the game. But I do want to get most of this dungeon farming down before they really start adding other game modes, because having all these dungeons out of the way is obviously pretty beneficial, because then we don't need to worry about getting all this free power. And then we'll have all this power that we can use for when we do the other game modes, which is obviously going to be rather convenient. Also, I probably should have used the light one first, because we could have hit double on him here. Not too big a deal, though. Also, one thing that's really noticeable about this game compared to Gems of War, a lot slower paced. A lot better than Puzzle Quest 1 and 2 as far as pacing, but it is way slower paced than Gems of War if you're used to something like Gems of War. Which I'm pretty sure is probably going to be the main thing that actually keeps people from Gems of War away, if nothing else. Is mostly the pacing of the game. Because I feel like one of Gems of War's biggest gimmicks is how quick-paced it is. And this game is definitely noticeably slower if you're used to Gems of War. Though this could, of course, be changed as early access develops. As it currently stands, it is very noticeably slower. But noticeably quicker than Puzzle Quest 1 and 2. Puzzle Quest 1 in particular felt glacially slow. And Puzzle Quest 2 wasn't much better. But compared to those games, this is much better pacing, if nothing else. But still towards the slower side for use of Gems of War. Like, I think the average dungeon is taking us like, what, 4 or 5 minutes? If nothing else, at least the stream will have a pretty good time data points, because I don't think I've ever really bothered timing it. And after the stream, we'll have quite a bit of data points on how long an actual dungeon takes in the current state of the game. I believe it's around 5 minutes, 4 or 5 minutes to do max difficulty dungeon, assuming you get it first try. So I guess it's closer to 5 minutes, because you won't always get it first try, especially depending on what your equipment is. Because basically, I'm using all the equipment we possibly can to make sure we survive on turn 1. Though I don't have guard shield, they end up buffing it. The reason I salvaged it initially was because it was broken and wasn't functioning correctly. However, 2 patches ago, they did end up fixing it, and I have not gotten a single shield of it since then. But there's a shield that gives you a really high block chance on the very first turn and then diminishes over time. And yeah, I ended up salvaging it a while back, and ever since they fixed the effect to actually work, I have not been able to get a single one, which is rather unfortunate. But we'll get it eventually, it's not too big a deal. But it helps with turn 1 survive. It's the best shield in the entire game for turn 1 survive, which is the most relevant aspect of anything in the game, is surviving turn 1. It is basically the only thing that matters. If you survive turn 1, you basically win. That is essentially this entire game currently. Survive turn 1, you win the entire battle. There are some exceptions to that, but for the most part, if you can survive turn 1, you basically won. Probably should have done the shield thing. There's a chance we have no moves here, which would be very bad. Luckily, there are still moves, so it's not going to matter. Oh, just in case, I will do the shield right now. Right now, it would be ideal we had no moves, but unfortunately, we do have a move, which means we got to wait on timer. Every time we don't have any moves, it saves about a good 2 to 3 seconds. But yeah, one thing that's really noticeable ever since they made it so you have to use class spells. So, I forget if I mentioned this. I think I mentioned it, but very briefly. So, the most recent patch made it so you now have to use class spells. A few things. You have to use class spells in the sense that you can't use other classes spells. Like, you don't have to use any class spells technically, but realistically, you're going to be using at least some amount. Like right here, the only thing we're technically using from the class is Smite. But, you can't use other classes spells, and you have to use unique spells. You can't use duplicates of the same exact spell. So you can't just use whatever the most broken powered spell is in the game over and over again, which is rather unfortunate, but makes sense for balance reasons. So it doesn't really change much of how you play the game. Like, the game still plays very similarly without being able to spam the same ability. You just got to get a little bit more creative with your builds, and it requires you to have a higher diversity of spells. But I do hope they do end up adding more spells to the game because of that. Because there is a little bit of a lack of build diversity now that you can't use other classes spells, because it drastically reduced the amount of spells you have as options. I think every spell, or every class is, what, 6 spells? So that means there are 24 spells you can't use now on every single hero class, many of which were pretty decent spells. Oh, I actually probably shouldn't have killed him there. So one thing that we could have done there, which is normally how you play the game, but Paladin is so broken that you don't have to play that way, is chip killing. So basically, chip killing is whenever you go and kill something by using the board itself. The main reason this is very beneficial is it basically counts as a stun, in a sense, in that you end up killing them and they don't attack back. So it essentially acts as a free stun without actually stunning. And you generally want to be doing that as much as possible. It's mechanically used a lot more on every other hero class, but because Paladin's barrier spams like crazy, it's not really a gimmick you use much on Paladin, because she has other ways of surviving. So like right here, well, I guess we'll do it. So now would be a good example time. But right here you can see he's very low HP, so we could just chip kill him by taking our color, and boom, he's dead. One interesting thing about chip killing is, unlike in something like Gems of War where only skulls off the board will actually do damage, everything does damage in this game, or at least anything that you're using. So currently we're using 4 yellow, so whenever we take a yellow, we will hit 4 times. If we take any other color, it will not do damage. However, obviously you can use your abilities to set up the board to properly do it, and then get a really big chip kill, because it hits once per every single color you have. and the amount of damage that it does is based on how much you take off the board. So you can end up hitting pretty hard. So much so we might actually be able to kill him right here. So we'll just go take a bunch of this, get that in there, get that in there, and that probably just outright kills him. Find out. Should be enough, especially with that extra 3. And they just die. And even though we took a skull there, you can see a good majority of the damage came from the amount of light we did. I think we did like 1,600 damage from the amount of yellow, because they hit 442 4 times, whatever that number is. So a lot of damage. Also, I really like Bow's animations, though it's a little bit slow compared to some weapons. What's kind of funny about the current way that animations work in this game is that some weapons' strength are actually based on how quickly their animation is. Because obviously you'd want the animation to be as quick as possible because there's no animation skip or anything currently within the game. So this technically artificially makes every single weapon in the game that has a quick animation be stronger. And unfortunately, Bow is not one of the quicker ones. It's also not one of the slowest ones, though. Its animations are a little bit longer than some of the other weapons in the game. But style-wise, it looks pretty cool. Rather unique. Also, it's one of only a few weapons that counts as missile damage instead of melee damage. Almost every single weapon counts as melee damage. I think there's only like 3 that counts as missile. It's wand, the book, the tome, whatever it's called, and the bow. I don't think there's any other one, actually. So there's 3 weapons that count as missile and 12 that counts as melee damage, which obviously makes something like bow pretty beneficial in that regard. Of the 3, wand is probably the worst. Though I don't have a wand. If I'm not mistaken, it just gives you like a really ridiculously small amount of starting mana. Like super, super small to the point that it's not even relevant. Aside from that, they definitely need to rework wand a little bit. It has potential to be really good, but it's currently really bad. Bow basically does a little bit of light damage based on how much damage you do. This is pretty good for PvP because it can lower other people's points, but doesn't really help you in any way. So it's mostly just to lower other people's points, which isn't really that useful. And aside from that, the tome would probably be the best one. It ends up increasing your mastery by a pretty substantial amount. And while you're normally gaining enough mana to kind of be fine, mastery also ends up increasing your damage. So overall, it's a pretty nice mix. Also, we did not get barrier there. I think that's the first time we actually died. It is possible to die. Even though it seems like we're never dying. It is still possible. And they will one-shot us until we get higher durability. I'm pretty sure that is our first death in an entire hour. But it is possible not to die. Bad starting boards will do that. And now we're safe. Now we won. It's already over. Good job, Paladin. Perfectly balanced. Stun. Let's free barrier just in case, because why not? You're not dead. That's rather unfortunate. Also, stop giving us so many wolves. That's like the only one we don't want to see. And the one we obviously want to see the most of is this scorpion thing. He keeps creating more yellow for us. Do we even have a stun here? That's rather unfortunate. Oh wait, we do, never mind. It's not too big a deal though. We have so many ways to not die that it really won't matter if we get a stun there or not. Also, I'm not even using runic rings. Runic rings are currently bugged, where it has a weird delay on them and it sometimes makes it so you can't click your special bar, which is very annoying because you could die if that happens sometimes. But the main reason we're not really using it is, well, 2 reasons. One is we need mana start, and 2 is because it's bugged. Once it gets fixed, we'll probably be using it a lot more. This makes Paladin even more broken than she already is. Because it would basically make it every single turn you can do your defensive aura, which basically makes you even more invincible than how invincible you already are. So yeah, there's that. Let's see. Let's take that for now. So you normally want to take as much junk off the board if you possibly can. It does waste a little bit of time, but it helps set up the board a little bit better. Really depends if you feel like you need it. Sometimes I take it, sometimes I don't. Obviously, you mostly primarily want to take whatever your primary color or 2 colors are. But sometimes you take literally every move on the board just to get them off, or to trigger some kind of other effect if you have some other weapon or thing that works based off of it. Is that a stun? No, it went off. I don't even think I bother going for it. Oh, I can't move that there because I moved the other one. Whoops. That's a big deal though. It should kill. I'd be very surprised if it doesn't. Also, I wasn't really making much of a mention of it. However, one other thing that came in the most recent patch on the list of things I've been trying to mention about 0.35 during this stream, they did end up making it so the in-between dungeon thing, when you have the choice of 2, is now doubled. The gold thing still does not work correctly, so if I click on 240 gold, it's not actually going to give me 240 gold. That will hopefully be fixed next patch, especially if they add a proper gold sync. But it doesn't really matter too much now because there isn't really a proper gold sync. But that's still bugged. However, they did double the effect of every single thing, other than the gold one that's bugged. So that's kind of cool. Makes some of them a little bit more viable. Also, in particular, probably the durability one's a lot more viable now, because whenever you take durability, you can end up stacking that because it goes above your cap. So you can end up doing that and pretty much be good to go. Also, you may have noticed we haven't crashed a single time. The game has gotten a bit more stable between all the patches that they've done, so that's a pretty nice addition. Obviously, still in early access, so could kind of expect things like that. But the game has been getting slightly more stable, though we are still on BlueStack, so it still has issues in that regard. Though my phone is such a low-quality phone that it's normally more stable than my phone. Like, I see crashes on my phone that don't normally happen on BlueStacks. Oh no, I didn't mean to do that. Whoops. Oh, luckily we have barrier. That'd be very bad if we did not have barrier. We could potentially have been dead right there. Luckily it doesn't matter. So let me go use the other bow for once. This bow is better for us to use because obviously it's yellow. However, I don't think I've actually used a new bow in the battle. Basically, how weapons work in this game is currently the only thing, and likely the only thing ever, that has a cosmetic instance to them. So every single weapon could theoretically be used cosmetically within the game. And as you get them more upgraded, they get more and more cosmetic, which is kind of cool. And in doing so, they actually get an interesting upgraded when upgraded to Epic. They end up looking a little bit more visually enticing. So at common and uncommon, I believe they look exactly the same. Oh, our hourlies are up. I don't normally check every single hour, but ever since Evelyn got upgraded, it is kind of worth it too, because it's so much better value. Oh, I only missed it by 3 minutes, so we're pretty much on time. Oh, I did not mean to craft with you. No, I did not want to craft with you. I meant to upgrade you, and now we can't upgrade you because you're busy. Oh well, I guess you're just gonna give us some tickets. I wanted to wait mostly to craft tickets while I was on vacation, because we can use those tickets to make up for the fact that we don't have to use diamonds all the time. However, I didn't want to start crafting yet. I still want to do Evelyn, and she can craft every hour, so you need almost all your ore for her. But once we go on vacation, we'll be using her a lot. Hopefully, if nothing else, we'll get double dungeon ticket or something from it. And those will be done at about the same time, so I guess it kind of works out. Anyways, what were we doing again? I was just doing that. Oh yeah, I wanted to change my weapon. There's a reason I came over here. Only for a battle, I just want to see what it looks like. So it looks a lot more dragon-like. I've seen the staff. Staff looks really cool when it gets that cosmetic addition. But I'll use this once, and only once, because for one it's green, and for two it has speed, both of which are bad. At least for this class anyways. Let's see what it looks like. But every single rarity, I believe, beyond gets a little bit more cosmetic. I'm not sure what a mythic weapon looks like, but an epic weapon looks like this. Legendary, I believe, gives you a glow on your hands, and then mythic, I believe, gets another visual change. I'm not sure to what. It looks pretty cool. Okay, problem here. We can't take yellow. That's somewhat problematic. Actually, there might have been a way if I got a little bit more creative with taking. Actually, I could have right over there, couldn't I have? Whoops. It's not too big a deal, though. Mostly because we got enough to do our ability. And as long as we can connect this, we won. And we won. Simple as that. Very perfectly balanced paladin. Pretty much unable to die. He just absolutely refuses to die. And he can stagger the barrier gems as well. So, yeah, we can kind of just keep that there for a while. Regain barrier whenever we want, or it'll take itself, unfortunately. Also, it's one of the reasons I'm not using the special on Paladin. Paladin has a special, but it triggers and kills your shield gems whenever you use it for the most part. Its damage increase is also bugged right now, so it doesn't even work. So I'm just kind of using lightning instead. It doesn't normally ruin the board. It only has a 3% chance to ruin the board if you keep it common at no levels. Also, I'm not sure why it has such a ridiculously low chance to even do its effect. So it's kind of beneficial. Oh, even the arrow is different. I didn't notice that. It's tipped with a gold tip thingy. I do have to say, I do like the cosmetic changes to weapons like that. It definitely makes it feel like your weapons are becoming stronger. The only problem is it happens literally to the weapons and to no other piece of equipment. And I feel like it's going to stay that way, because I highly doubt they will code literally every piece of equipment to appear on your character. Though that'd be pretty cool if they did, but that would be so much model work to do. To a point where I'm pretty sure they're not going to do it. Especially because I believe they're outsourcing all their 3D modeling. I don't think anyone on the actual dev team is 3D modeling anything. I'm pretty sure they're just hiring people for it. Kind of like how they hire for the troop art for Gems of War as well. Like, I don't think they have anyone in-house who actually does the troop art, for the most part. They basically just outsource it all. I think it's a lot cheaper that way. Which means we're probably not getting any cosmetic thing other than weapons, I'm pretty sure. That would get way too complicated to do armor and shield, which would not conflict with like almost every weapon in the game, the shield. As well as helm, legs, body, everything. It would just be too much. Which means weapons will likely remain the only one. Which is actually perfectly fine. If they would actually make upgrading weapons a bit easier. Upgrading everything is basically impossible in the current version of the game. The next version should hopefully be fixing that. Good chance next version's next week while I'm on vacation, which is very annoying because I won't actually be able to cover it when it comes out. Well, I'll definitely make sure to cover it the week after. I mentioned it earlier, but they did 2 little mini patches in the most recent day or 2. It was mostly just them putting all the assets into the game, though. None of it's actually activated yet. Which likely means it occurs on reset. It might be kind of like a weekly thing. Which would make sense. They have like 1 billion weekly things in Gems of War, and this game currently has almost none other than PvP, kind of. As well as how the guild things function, kind of. But it doesn't have any proper weekly game mode. Which might be what the patch does, because we're definitely getting some kind of game mode. I just don't know what yet. It's primarily going to be bringing in all the evolution equipment into the game, which will be very nice, because it's near non-existent right now. I still haven't gotten a single new resource in the game, not counting the little upgrade crystals, which you get from side quests. But every other thing from chests and everything haven't gotten a single drop yet since the patch. Not even from salvaging. Yeah, pretty cool cosmetic changes. Oh, back to yellow bow. Yellow bow is stronger. The weaker bow is stronger than the stronger bow, because of how colors work and perks. Let's go back to the weaker, stronger bow. Lower rarity, but stronger effects. That's the only one annoying thing about this game. It's just how varied equipment can be based on all their perks, and there isn't any way to actually change any of those perks, and this is complete RNG on which ones you get. Also, why do I keep going to tavern when I want to go to equipment? Let's go back to normal bow. The one with gold that we literally just got today. Rather conveniently. Because parry isn't really going to be enough for us to not die in any instance. So not really much of a need. If it was, we'd be using it, but 2% melee block isn't really going to be doing anything for us. Back to the yellow bow. Also, unfortunately, we can't really be changing our weapon to anything other than bow just because of the restriction for this dungeon. For the first 100 times you ever run a dungeon, assuming you have the weapon already, you pretty much always want to be running the weapon. Also, one interaction that's pretty interesting, which I'm pretty sure is intended and is very useful compared to convert. So one thing as far as conversion compared to gem spawns and Gems of War is that gem spawning was pretty much always stronger than converting. with a few instances that were different. But for the most part, gem spawning is better. Like the converting is a little bit more consistent in that you know what it's going to do. But gem spawning has overall always been stronger if you could do a really high amount. However, this game has found an interesting way to kind of balance that out to make converting a little bit stronger. And the main way that they do that is whenever you convert a gem that has a number on it, the number actually gets converted with it. So this red gem that was a 5 is now a yellow gem that is a 5, which is obviously pretty convenient for us since obviously we need yellow. But it actually maintains the number that it has on it. So that's a pretty interesting way that they've basically made converting pretty much just as useful as gem spawning, which is a pretty creative way of doing it, and is something that Gems of War hasn't been able to solve. But this game was able to solve it that way, which is pretty nice. Also, I wasn't even paying attention. We didn't even have barrier there. Good thing I hit stun or we would have been dead. I was not paying attention at all. Let's go re-barrier just in case. Safety barrier. I think we have a stun, so it's not really going to matter, though. So that would have been a great instance to chip kill, but oh well. Not too big a deal. It's Paladin. We're not going to die. We could try to die and probably won't die. No, actually, we could really easily die if we try to die. Unlike in Gems of War. Let's see. We'll take that over, take that over, take that over. Because any turn we can literally die if we're not careful. As long as we're careful, we could basically infinite as far as not taking damage. Not literal infinite, though. Though there is an actual literal infinite, which I kind of want to show. I'm not sure if I ever showed it on stream, because I don't think I've actually had the equipment on our previous stream. But there's an actual infinite in this game that never dies. And it is very ridiculously broken, and hopefully it gets nerfed at some point. Though hopefully I can still utilize it before it does get nerfed. But we'll go show it on a different kingdom. We haven't actually gotten to do it yet. But there is a very broken 100% true infinite in this game that will probably get nerfed. Main reason we're not using it now is it's very bad at surviving turn 1, because it doesn't help you at all survive turn 1. For that reason, it's not really worth using. However, if you're doing a game mode where you can survive turn 1 very easily, and the battle's going to go on for a while, it is very effective because it literally cannot die. Show it after this battle. Though I don't have a thing saved for it, so I'm going to have to change off everything. Oh, also, this entire stream, we have not gotten a single lightning bolt. After a little over an hour, we finally got the first 3% chance. I actually want it not to trigger, because it's actually more convenient for it not to. But, yeah, there it goes. That's what that does. You would never really expect it to happen. I'm not sure why they gave it such a small percent. It needs to have like a 0 at the end of that percent. Not sure why they made it so absurdly low. And even at 30%, even at 100%, I'm not sure you'd really bother using Lightning Bolt. What's kind of funny is it would actually become weaker if they made the percent higher. Mostly because destroying columns isn't really too useful. Especially random columns, at least with her special. Even though it's not the main gimmick, obviously the main gimmick's the game barrier. But at least with her special, we know exactly where the column destroyer is going to be. Randomly doing it's kind of not that good. Especially since it's not a full board clear. Also, the way that Destroy works in this game, Explode does count as Destroy, in that it does 100% mana. Of course, that's not the case in Gems of War. It used to be way back in the day. But currently, in the current state of Puzzle Quest 3, 100% of mana accumulated from explosions is accumulated, which makes Explosion much better than Destroy. Unless it's a really good board control Destroy. Anyways, let me go show the other build. Also allow us to finally do a different dungeon. I believe we're currently doing the Axe dungeon next, so let me go switch over to Axe. Also, I keep clicking on Tavern. It's such a habit. I'm not sure why I do it. Probably because it has a little flashy thing there, which makes me want to click on it. But anyways, let's go quick change to Axe, because it's the other dungeon, plus it's yellow. So we'll go to Axe. Has the same useless ability as, or not the exact same. The one on bow is technically slightly better, but it has a very similar useless ability to bow. Except it doesn't have the benefit of being missile type damage, which makes this overall a lot worse because it doesn't hit HP directly, and it doesn't count as missile. So it's basically just bow but weaker. Is basically what battle axe is in the current state of the game. It's bow but weaker. Anyways, I was gonna go change my build. So let's see, we need yellow and red. Not sure why I got rid of neutral. There's literally no neutral spells. So let's get a sunburst on. Let's get a lightning bolt. Oh no, I want the weaker lightning bolt. Lower chance that we get a... Yes, I know we're using another one. Fine, let me equip this one then. Because you're not allowed to use multiple of the same spell. Not anymore. Then we get a fireball. And then we get like Scorching Hand, which is literally just a better version of Fireball for the most part. Fireball removes, which is a really bad mechanic because you don't get mana for it. And this one converts it to red, which is rather convenient. So we get more red, though it doesn't really matter because we're kind of going to auto-win once it gets rolling. And the most important part is obviously to change the necklace, which is the whole thing that's going to make this work. And that we will do Elven Charm for. So Elven Charm is very, very broken. It might be the most broken thing in the entire game. Main reason we don't use it is because it's only really good for doing low difficulties. It's not really good at super high difficulty because it doesn't help you survive turn 1, which is very bad that it doesn't. I believe this is the right location, correct? Yes. Battle Axe. That is the next one. We'll do it on stream. Just die. Come back, stream. Come back. Sorry about that. Stream died for a moment there. I think it did. The struggles of streaming on BlueStacks. Let's see. Oh, wait, that won't allow us to connect the other one. Oh, wait, never mind. We're not barriering. I forgot. It doesn't matter to... we're doing a different build. So all we have to do here is just take our red and yellow, and now we won. It's already over. We have infinite damage. So, now we'll just throw this down. Boom, dead. Then we throw this down. And you notice how these are accumulating mana on the exact turn. Oh, well, there's all of our mana. That also fixes that. And then we do it again. Dead. Okay, this guy's gonna take 2 hits because he's an elite. Unless we have purple damage, which there's no viable way because it only gives red and yellow mana. So we'll do that. Hook him again. You notice how it's going up in mana. Though it might just give us mana again. We did not, so that's fine because we still have all the infinite damage. And then we do it again. And then we poke it twice. And you may have noticed, we've only taken stuff from the board once. That's pretty much all we need. Because our mana is infinite. Yeah, it's pretty broken. You can also see that we got the dungeon done way quicker than the other ones. Well, mostly because it's on easy, of course. But also because we have literal infinite. Though we do get a lot less marks. Like a lot less. But yeah, that's the thing. We'll do it one more time, then we'll go back to the real dungeons. If nothing else, this gets progress on dungeon completions very quickly. Which I kind of hope this doesn't get nerfed yet, because I kind of want to farm every dungeon to max before we do. The only reason I'm not doing it right now is because since we're going on vacation soon, I need the marks a lot more than I need the power. And doing this difficulty gives almost no marks. Though it does still give some amount of marks for people that can't do the higher difficulties, so that's still nice. But nothing else, it gives a lot of wooden marks. And also go pretty much just always go for gold. Mana will be the highest priority, gold the second highest priority. Yeah, it's a very broken build, to say the least. Really hope it doesn't get nerfed until after the vacation so I can go farm with it before it gets nerfed. Because I haven't been able to do too much farming with it yet. Also, even once they nerf every single overpowered thing in the game, there's still going to be a billion other overpowered things in the game that they'll then need to go rebalance. This game's going to be absurdly hard to rebalance with how they have the current balance of the game without revamping stuff substantially. Yeah, that's what that does. Very broken. Very exceedingly broken. But I need dungeon marks, so we'll go switch back to the other build. And I keep clicking on Tavern Fail. Only problem is it takes several seconds to load. And wastes time every time we click on it. Well, let's go back to bow build. Well, it's not really bow build, but let's go back to high difficulty build. Oh, I'm looking for here. I need spells to be normal again. Which technically we only have to trade out 2 spells, don't we? I need this to be channel light. And I need this to be smite. So it looks like I just reversed the order of the spells I had. Seemingly. Oh, there we go. Now we're back to normal. Except everything's in a different location now. Alright, back to the normal location. Gotta get the marks. Also, you can upgrade marks, but you can't downgrade them. I'll go do that after this battle. Gold marks, I upgrade to ruby. Ruby, I upgrade to diamond. And bronze, or I should say wooden and iron, I keep at their default. Main reason for this is upgrading them doesn't really give much value, so I kind of just keep them at their default area. This is a very bad starting board. Like, exceedingly bad, gosh. I think that's the best we can do. At least we need barrier here. We should get enough mana that he's going to do nothing next turn. Plus we get barrier off of this, so we should be fine. Paladin just doing paladin things. Oh, he's gonna blight us. Oh well. At least he doesn't remove our barrier. So we're probably gonna regain barrier anyway, so. Also, I should probably rechange his order. It's gonna be very annoying, everything being in an exact different order than it was before. Also, I probably should have done that a little bit earlier while we still had more reds on the board. Oh well. I think we have a stun there. Not too big a deal if we don't, though. But we do. Yeah, that didn't kill, which is kind of convenient. Oh, I should have done this first again. Okay, I need to change these back to normal order. It's gonna drive me crazy that they're not in the exact same location where they were before. All 4 of them are completely changed. Also, sometimes it's better just to keep that big gem on the board. That's not really too big a deal. Chip killing doesn't matter like at all with Paladin. Whatever wins quickest is basically what you do with Paladin. Because surviving doesn't matter since you kind of auto-survive with near 100% consistency. Well, in other classes you actually have to chip kill and worry about exact numbers and all that. But Paladin's nice because you don't have to think at all. You do have to think a lot when you're playing the game normally. And by normally, I mean playing literally any hero class that isn't Paladin. Oh, I was doing that because it's this. Fail. Okay, I need to change them back. I'm not used to this placement. But yeah, they really need to add more spells to this game. It feels weird having so few. In all fairness, Gems of War did launch with a similar number of spells. But it just seems so weird. Like, Gems of War has, if you count weapons, Gems of War has over 1,000 spells. If you don't count weapons, it's like 900 or something. If you do count weapons, it's almost like 1,400 or something. But this game currently has less than 100, which makes build diversity feel very small, because not only are a lot of those not even usable, because only about 50 of those are even usable because you can't use all the other class spells now, but you also have the addedness of just so few. Like 50 gives you so few options. The fact that you actually need to have the spells and have the good rarities of them and all that just makes very few things actually viable. Oh, what do we want here? Oh, I'll take that. Actually, we do have a stun. Actually, no, we don't have a stun. Yes, we do. Never mind. We'll go for that. See, sometimes time is more useful. You completely forget if it's actually there or not. Normally, you think out your move before you take it. But it's Paladin, so you don't. It's good enough. I should actually just outright kill. Also, one thing I haven't really mentioned, but it's pretty obvious as we're doing this, armor is basically never something you want to kill on. With the one exception maybe being Berserker, and ever so occasionally maybe Necromancer, but mostly Berserker. But for the most part, you're killing everything off of their spell reduction, not off of their HP value, or not off of their armor value, which is basically like true damage in Gems of War, except it has armor towards it, or, you know, a form of armor. Also, there's something I wanted to go do right now. I completely forget what it is now. Also, gosh, that audio, is that still making that weird noise in the background? That's bad. Let me go restart. It's still a bug that it has on occasion. One moment. Yeah, let me know if it does anything weird with the audio. Because it definitely does a lot of weird stuff with the audio. Come on, BlueStacks. It does on mobile version too, but it does even more often on BlueStacks. I still need to balance the audio in the game. Still so many problems with it. Hopefully we'll get the Steam release and audio fixes in the next few months. Because it makes recording very annoying. Come on, become version 0.36 already. You're so close. Look at how many numbers they had to add. 0.9955. They're going to keep modifying this version until... It'll eventually be here. A good possibility it's next Tuesday or Monday. There are no official dates. But that's a very annoying time because I will be on vacation. We'll cover it the week after. But anyway, since we're out of a battle now, let's go over to the shop thingy. So you can upgrade your marks to bigger marks, which allows you to do bigger chests. Right now I want them to become diamonds because we're going to need them for vacation. Diamonds take about 24 hours, technically less because of mission time. But they take about 24 hours, which means you don't have to check the game that often, which is very convenient for when you don't want to play the game or can't play the game or are busy. Basically, I'm keeping all my wooden marks as wooden, so that we can use our wooden keys. Keeping all my iron marks as iron, so we can use our iron keys. All the gold become ruby, all the ruby become diamond, and then we use the diamonds. That is basically the game plan with these. It's not really worth upgrading the wooden and iron anyways, plus they're better to keep around just in case we need a burst of upgrading material, because they're pretty good for upgrading material, those two. But anyways, let's go get these upgraded into bigger marks. Unfortunately, there is not a mass option for this yet, so you do have to manually do it one at a time. This is likely something I would assume they would change in the future by having two different purchases. One will be like 1 and the other would be like 5 or 10 at once. Kind of like how they have for Gems of War, where you can use one key, 10 keys or 50 keys, or when you have a super high amount, 200 keys. But that is something not implemented yet for this game, but definitely needs to be. All they have to do is just do the same key menu here. Just have 3 purchases, or 2 at least. Like a 1, 5, 10, or just a 1, 10, like how the Underworld is in Gems of War. Would be very convenient. As it currently stands, you gotta do it one at a time. But it's still worth it for how much time you save by doing diamonds and not having to worry about checking the game. Because diamonds, you only technically, theoretically, have to check the game once per day. If you really wanted to, just to check the diamond chest. Theoretically, you could check more often. Like every single hour for Evelyn and stuff like that. But the chests are the main thing that you normally want to check. And having diamonds make it so you don't have to do so. Or at least not nearly as often. Unfortunately, we need a lot of diamond marks for vacation. Let's see. If we, I'm still not going to have enough, but luckily we have dungeon tickets, which will kind of be able to do it. And worst comes to worst, I can still do other chests like iron and stuff. But for us to have enough marks, let's see. I'm going to be gone for, well, it's basically 10 days, essentially. So if we bring up a calculator real quick. Actually, I could do that in my head. That's 360 times 10 is 3,600. So theoretically, we're only 1/3 the way there on how many marks we need. So we still need quite a bit of marks, to say the least. But anyways, so where were we? Let's go do, actually, I might even run iron all the way up until vacation. That would actually make a lot of sense, wouldn't it? Just run iron all the way until Thursday night. That makes a lot of sense. Because that would keep us to have more diamonds. But anyways, let's keep grinding. Actually, let's double check our progress, too. See where our next milestone is. We'll probably keep going until our irons are ready. Which I haven't opened up any irons during this patch. So far, I've just been running straight diamonds. I have never not been running diamonds this patch. I got like an hour and a half until we can end up doing those. Which means we'll grind the whole time. Be able to make a lot of progress on this kingdom, which is currently at 41 out of 50. Which we need technically 41 out of 100 as far as how far we need to go. And I'll end up getting these upgrades along the way. So we need, what is that then? 59 more runs in that kingdom. And then once we do that for every single dungeon, we theoretically never really need to do the dungeons again unless we want their drops. After you do 100 with the weapon in every single dungeon, the return on investment of putting time into the dungeons is exceedingly low to the point where you wouldn't really need to do the dungeons at that point unless you really specifically want their drop table and get the chest for the drop table. Okay, what do we want here? Very bad starting board. Though good enough to, I think, survive at least. So we don't get mana. That's not gonna matter. Because it's Paladin! Oh wait, we didn't get barrier from that, no. Very unfortunate. Okay, I guess it doesn't matter. Even Paladin's not invincible. Though it normally is. That was very unlucky. I think that was 4 30% chances. Still enough to die occasionally. Not 100% guaranteed. Even if we had both of them mythics, it wouldn't be 100%. Still could die. Just very rarely. This is a weird board. I have to determine if I want higher percent or just take the mana. I think we just take the mana. And hope we get barrier here. I never reordered the spells, did I? That's still somewhat problematic. It's only problematic if I click incorrectly. I should probably change them back though. I'm so used to the way I previously had it. This might all the way to the left. We'll gain barrier here. Good, in perfect stun location. That wasn't too big a deal if it didn't land there. Should be enough to kill. Not enough to re-barrier though. So I don't think that's really gonna matter. We still have a whole turn with barrier anyways. Let's see, can we fill the whole board? Probably not. We got pretty close though. If only we had a legendary channel light. So far, the only one I have in Legend is the green one. Which isn't the worst one to have. Actually, what would the worst one be? Red has a lot of synergy, so that's not too bad. Purple has really good synergy with the hero class. I think blue would be the worst one to have legendary. Though I do have a legendary spell that would synergize really well with the legendary ice one, so I guess it would be fine. The biggest issue with blue currently within the game is there's currently no hero class that creates a blue power gem. This is because Necromancer creates a skull one. So there's actually 0 hero classes that do blue. So that likely means if they ever add more hero classes, which I sure hope they do, though they'll likely paywall it, which honestly, I'm not sure if I would mind if they did. Because you can get a lot of currency from every hero class that gets added. So it kind of makes sense if they would somewhat paywall them. Though it's still unfortunate when stuff like that gets paywalled. Though, for any game, this would actually be somewhat more understandable if they did. But still unfortunate when hero classes and stuff like that get paywalled in games. But it definitely seems like they will do that if they add more hero classes. To justify even adding them into the game and all the time to do the models and everything for them. But they were definitely getting a blue one as the very first new one, because there's currently technically no blue hero class, in the sense that Necromancer is more so a skull hero class than a blue hero class. So if we're ever going to be getting a new one, blue is probably going to be the very first one. Probably like a blue yellow or something. So definitely a blue something, with blue as primary. Because not a single hero class currently creates a blue special gem. Which is somewhat problematic, because it makes blue very weak in most situations. Oddly enough, I feel like Berserker uses blue better than Necromancer. The main reason for this is red currently does not have Blue, and blue does, so you can end up using a mix of red-blue. Honestly, it might be the only hero class that viably has a double color build. Most other hero classes run pure color. But Berserker's optimal build actually is currently, to my understanding, 2 red, 2 blue, which is the only hero class in the game that's kind of like that. So if you had a lot of stuff that could create red, you would just go pure red. The biggest issue that red has is there's currently no way to really spawn red gems other than channel fire, as well as the special. So it makes it a lot harder to get gems onto the board because it doesn't really have a secondary way of doing it like many other colors do, which is one thing that red has against it. But in that case, it has a lot of rings that do it, but you would need to actually have the rings at high rarity for it to be viable. But it also has, what was the other thing? Something else I wanted to mention, but I lost my train of thought. But basically, red and blue are the 2 weakest colors, essentially. But together, they're not bad, is basically the bottom line. They both lack ways of spawning their gem, but in a way that they both lack it being good together because they both lack it. Let's see. I'll take that over. Please move. Like, if you were on mobile and you did the mistake like that, you wouldn't have been able to take the move. But luckily on PC, it's not as big a deal. I do feel like PC is going to be the most broken platform for this game, just because of how moving gems is with the timer. The worst is going to be doing this with controller. I have no clue how they're going to make this work with a controller. Controller is going to be at such a severe advantage compared to touchscreen and mouse. Hey, Ruby Chest. Goodbye, Ruby Chest. I can't open anything, unfortunately. I can't open anything even if I wanted to. And the reason for that is when you're exceeding the caps, you're not allowed to open anything. And I'm deliberately exceeding the caps because, for one, there's really low value to open chests in the current state of the game ever since the most recent patch. But the other reason is I'm going on vacation soon, so I kind of want my inventory to not have to deal with it. And if we can just keep exceeding the cap, we don't need to deal with it. It'll make it so we can't open keys, but it's not too big a deal. Plus, keys will probably be better value to open next patch anyways. There's a possibility the new game mode will require you to use keys on whatever the loot drop table is. And if that is the case, well, we got all the keys we're ever going to need for quite a while. Since I haven't been using keys for the last few weeks. Not counting the automatic minion opens. Hey, we don't have barrier. Let's probably fix that. Would probably be beneficial to fix that issue. Before we die. Do we have stun on board? We do not. Now we probably do though. Also, in them doubling it, they made taking mana so much more viable. Before, you wouldn't get full mana because it only gave you 25. But now every 50 spell in the game seems to get full mana because, well, they do 50 mana, obviously. Getting 50 mana will fill it, which is quite convenient. Go for stun here and hope that we randomly hit 30% off of that so we get a barrier. We did not hit. The game really does not want to give us barrier this battle. Doesn't matter, Paladin's unkillable. Even without barrier. Barrier just makes it easier. Have we died mid-battle a single time this entire stream? I don't think we have. Now counting turn 1, I'm pretty sure we have not died yet. There's barrier. Not like we need it. But yay, barrier. Even more ways to not die. I forgot, this thing counts as fire. It's a little bit weird because the other one actually counts as yellow, but in this specific dungeon it counts as green. So we can actually do extra damage with fire, and I keep forgetting that sometimes. Because it would have been better to keep the yellow ability for him, because it would do extra damage to him. Which means we actually can't kill him now, which is unfortunate. We would have been able to. But now we can't. It's not too big a deal though, because of barrier. That would have been better for any class that isn't Paladin. But then again, it would have just killed it. I should have said burst first. If I'm not mistaken, is that where I normally have sunburst? Actually, no, I think that's where I normally had my thingy. I should probably change it back. I hate Smite being all the way to the right. It needs to be to the left. Okay, we can finally throw this ability now. I don't think we used it a single time. But I mostly just want it for damage. And now he's dead as soon as we cast. Should bring him down to like 1,100 or so. Oh, a little bit lower. And he's dead. Let me go change his abilities. It's going to drive me crazy if I don't do it now. And when we switch to the other build real quick. Even though it's the exact same build now, I need it to be a different order. Just because I'm used to it that way. Too bad you can't drag and change them. I hope they add that feature. It was a really nice feature in Gems of War. So for example, they did make one quality of life feature though. So now when you click on this, you can see all 4 of your spells. This wasn't a feature prior to this patch. However, you can't drag and change their order. So if I want the Smite to be over there, I can't just drag it and move it over there. And I can't just drag these and move it into here like you can in Gems of War. I hope they do that change because that was a very nice feature in Gems of War. And they already know how to code it. So just do it again. But now we gotta go change all these to be correct. Same spells, different order. So 3rd spell can actually remain Channel Light, that's fine. Where are my other ones? Smite needs to go to not there. I need that equipped to slot 1. Slot 2 I need to be Sunburst. Oh, why am I keeping all the spells up? It'd be so much easier if I did this. Also, there's no search bar yet, so you can't search for a specific spell by name. Though in all fairness, there's not too many to search for. However, even Gems of War, when it only had 100 options, still had a search bar, so hopefully they add it at some point. Also, I still find it funny that Google, the search engine, still didn't get search bar for Stadia until just a couple months ago. Stadia was such a mess. I was hoping it would have some good integration for YouTube, but they flopped on it so absurdly hard, Stadia. But, yeah, that was a mess. Good thing I didn't buy it. Though I did get one of those Stream Link things to try to get the phone onto the TV thing, which it does do, but I wasn't able to record it properly, which was annoying. There is a way to do it, but it requires so many adapters and everything that I just didn't bother. Didn't bother with it. It's just so much easier using BlueStacks. So much more convenient. Even though it's annoying at times. We won, right? Yeah, we won. Unless we get ultra unlucky, we have won. We need an absurd amount of luck. Oh no, we actually didn't win! No way! That's a really high amount of not luck. That was 530% chances. All failed. Plus he didn't hit 50 mana. If he would have hit 50 mana, that also would have been fine. Because then he would have terrored us and done nothing. Very unfortunate. Also gives you a pity gold and XP every time you lose. Which is basically 0. Kind of weird that it even gives anything. But if you die midway through a battle, which we haven't seen because it never happens, it also gives you slightly more resources based on how many you killed. But we never get to see that because that never happens. If we survive turn 1, we survive everything. Did we really just die again? It's just some really unlucky turn 1s. But once we get past turn 1, we won. Basically, the meta right now is anything that helps you survive turn 1 is stuff you want. It's the only thing that matters. Once you get past turn 1, you win. Problem is getting past turn 1. I'm pretty sure they're going to change that by adding more durability in the future or lowering down the enemy's damage. Because it's a very weird meta. And it prevents a lot of other stuff from being able to be used. Because if it doesn't help your turn 1, it's basically not usable in most situations. Because the rest of this battle's already won. This is a matter of applying the damage, which having more power is useful for. We can actually kill him here. And I think I want to, for once. Helps us regain barrier for free. Normally you do that a lot on other classes, but you can still do it on Paladin if you want. It's not required on Paladin though. On other classes you have to do stuff like that to live, because basically what we did there was accumulate all of our mana back up while also killing the enemy, which basically counts as a stun or barrier in a sense. But Paladin has so much barrier that you don't have to do that. At least currently. I do feel like they're going to rebalance Paladin somehow though. There's no way they're going to keep it this broken. Because there's literally no other hero class that exists if they keep Paladin like this. It is literally just Paladin and nothing else. There's no incentive to use any other class. So many misclicks that matter. Theoretically, you would actually want to keep the color that you have on the board quite a bit. The main reason I don't is just because you get more damage, or just for the sake of taking them all. But it's actually strategic to not take every single gem if you already have enough chip kill to kill the enemy. You'd want to keep them for the following turn, so you have extra turn chance as well as just more damage to the next enemy that actually needs the damage to be killed. Oh, we still had a turn. We almost got the auto turn. I need to add a skip button. Only way you can do it is if you have no moves left, which is hard to set up consistently. Okay, we get a Sunburst down. Not sure if I'll have enough to kill the elite. Also, they need to really fix elite damage not functioning correctly. I'm actually not going to channel light here just so we have the guarantee stun. We'll play it more like a normal hero class. Not like it matters. We'll play it like not Paladin. It's good practice for when we actually have to play the game normally. Unless they eventually nerf chip killing. Or it seems like something they won't nerf. There's a lot of things they probably won't nerf, like barrier. I don't think they will nerf chip killing. Like, it seems like the game is intended for you to do it, even though it's very strong. But it basically benefits high strategy, which would make sense if it's an intended mechanic. Paladin kind of skips most of that strategy, though, by brute forcing a billion barriers. Oh, so we have stun on board with skulls. We still have... No, we don't. Never mind. I ruined it. If this was not Paladin, we would have taken that before we done anything. Still got a stun, so I guess it doesn't really matter. But the other one would have been inconsistent 100% stun without us needing a chance to gem spawns. Oh, that killed him already? Wow. Okay, whatever. A little overkill already. I was expecting at least one more cast. Come on, give me diamonds. Ruby's still good, though. Diamond is what we really want. Getting a single diamond drops half a diamond chest. If we get the diamond mark. Which is obviously very useful. Let's see, how much time we got on our chests? We'll probably stream until the chests are ready. I believe it's still another hour, though. Oh, yep, looks like about an hour. Hour, 10 minutes. So the first one will be ready quite a bit sooner, because I used a really highly upgraded pet on one of them. Also, I wonder if I'll get any relics. I haven't opened, like, any iron. I haven't opened anything that isn't a diamond this entire patch. This will actually be the first time since 0.35 I'll be opening a not diamond. It's because we've been running diamonds the whole time. The main reason for that is because of legendary chance. I'm not sure if I showed every legend that we have, but here's every legend that we have. If we go do it by level. So we have Channel Poison and Frostbolt. Channel Poison is great for Shaman, obviously. Though its interaction is a little bit weird because it has an infinite poison, and infinite poison is a really weird interaction with one of its other abilities that depends on how many poison stacks there are, and it basically counts as a -1 poison stack, which is a very weird interaction. As far as the other one, we have Frostbolt. Blue is one of the weakest colors in the game. However, it does have a better version than what Purple has. So Purple has, if I can find it somewhere in all this mess, it's probably all the way towards the bottom. But where is it? Purple has a weaker version of this. Currently, only Purple and Blue has this kind of spell, for the most part. But, oh yeah, I can't see it because I'm not on Assassin, duh. But Assassin basically has a version of this that's weaker. But a Blue version is not only stronger, but you can use it on any hero class. though mostly you'd be using it on Necromancer, and maybe ever so occasionally on Berserker, mostly Necromancer. But yeah, it does a bunch of extra damage based on every single blue on the board, which can obviously stack to quite a bit of damage, and you can manipulate how many blues are on the board to try to chip kill in an exact amount. So overall, not a horrible spell, though not as good as some of the ones we could have gotten. As far as other legends that we end up picking up, or natural legends, some of them we end up getting through other upgrades. I actually don't have a single naturally occurring legendary weapon yet. The only legendary weapon we have been able to get is Bloodfang, but that's mostly because the upgrade from the previous patch. That wasn't a natural occurring one. But we got quite a few epic ones. We got the Broadsword, which is basically like, the Royal Longsword, which is basically like Brongsword now. Battle Axe, which is basically useless, but we can use it for the dungeon if nothing else. We got probably the only useful one, Epic Guard's Broadsword. 20 power for every single fire. Technically, the longsword would also be pretty useful once they fix it, which will hopefully be done next patch. Elven Bow is pretty useless, especially with speed, so that's one of the weakest ones. This one's also not too good. It only gives 10 additional attack damage per ice gem on the board, and given that it has Poison Strike, that's a very bad combination. Cover is also pretty bad, and overall, pretty bad on weapons. But as far as naturally occurring legendary helms, the only one I've ever gotten is Savior Helm, and we got it the previous patch, and I was able to upgrade it to Mythic, so that was very lucky. Basically got a free Mythic. I have literally no shoulders that are even epic. These were just all epics. A lot of epics, but nothing too good, though Dragon Guard armor with some EXP is basically just what I use. No legends here, but we got two different crit ones. One that crits over time, which is better for longer battles, and one that crits up front, which is better for not longer battles, and also has solid, so we can use it for some blocking percent. So I just do that because we have block on this, so it synergizes pretty well to give us extra block. Aside from that, still no legendary occurring pants. All we have is this, which gains 20 resistance every single time we cast a spell, which isn't too good, and 10 armor every time we cast a green, which is pretty much useless in any color that isn't green, and I don't have it in green. The main reason I keep this is because it has Smart on it for extra XP, and because currently most pants are pretty bad anyways. And as far as boots, we have two different ones with XP, one that gives extra speed every single time we do a big gem, and one that basically gives us no speed because it's so hard to get dark extra percent, and it doesn't count Assassin's thing, so it's basically only counts if you get it off of that one ring, which is like near non-existent. So we mostly just want to do this if we don't want to gain speed while still gaining the 3% XP. And that's pretty much all we got there. As far as other naturally occurring legends, nothing really over here. It was mostly rings, I think, as far as equipment. We got 3 epics here, mostly just using Firewalker because of vitality and strength. Most of the effects on shields aren't really too useful, except for the one I have not been able to refine since they actually made it work, which gives a bunch of block chance on turn 1 and the first few turns. But it's mostly useful for turn 1 and is very useful for the amount of reduction it does. And I hope I would get it again soon. Even a rare version would be fine. Still haven't been able to find it at all. We got this today, which is actually a pretty good option. But as far as naturally occurring legends, the only one I've been able to get is Jewel Pendant. There's a pretty bad one. It's basically just a bunch of healing. And its coloration is pretty bad, given that this is purple and everything it gives is yellow. Though having both Light Pact and Light Strike, I guess, is okay. And there's a lot of healing underneath yellow and purple, so I guess in that regard it's kind of okay. Elven Charm's broken beyond belief. This did cost us gems. I think it was 750 gems in the previous state of the game. I was able to get that. Though I think they raised the amount of cost that it costs to find it in shop for gems. We do have Dwarven Necklace. This was a epic that we upgraded. It wasn't a naturally occurring one. It was one that got upgraded with the patch. Same as this. This got upgraded with the patch. The only naturally occurring legend that we have as far as rings is Dragon Guard Ring, which I got a couple days ago. For each match that we do, it also has a bunch of gold, which is nice. But for each color match made in a turn, basically we just have a chance to cleanse. Its cleanse chance is so low that basically we're not really going to be using it. And aside from that, I have like an army of runic rings for whenever we need it, as well as just a bunch of other epic rings. Not sure why, but it seems like we get a lot of epic rings. It seems like they have a bit of a higher chance given that there's 2 slots for it instead of 1, which would kind of make sense. But anyways, that's all of our epics. Not that many. I mean, that's how many legends we have, I mean. As well as epics, as well as all of them. Also, I'm not sure why, but I just cannot find Shoulders. Shoulders was the last one I ever got in rare, and Shoulders is also the only one I don't have an epic or higher in. I'm not sure why, but the game refuses to give me Shoulders. Very weird. We just are incapable of getting Shoulders, seemingly. Anyways, how are our marks doing? We still need 1.5 billion more. Not sure if I'll even be able to farm enough before I go, because I'll probably only have enough time to farm for like another hour or 2 tomorrow. So I don't think we'll hit the mark. So we'll probably run iron all the way until I go, and then have like 2,000 marks by then probably. If nothing else, we have a bunch of dungeon loot tickets, and you can use that to count as loot. And you can just get a bunch of chests that way. The only problem with that is the amount of hours each one takes to get consistent. If we just take all the ruby and diamonds from them, it should be fine. Shouldn't really be too big a deal. Oh no, we might die. Purple, no. You're supposed to cascade from sky to give us a chance. We're dying a lot this last 30 minutes. I think we died like 5 times. All on turn 1, obviously. We're not dying at anything that isn't turn 1. Turn 1's the only time. We'd have to really not be paying attention to die as Paladin on not turn 1. With the current balance of the game. This might be a turn 2 def, just because we don't get yellow. That's the other time when you would die. Is if we don't get yellow on turn 1 but still get barrier. Or neither. Dead. A lot of bad boards. This game is very heavily dependent on starting board. Of course, pretty much any game like this is going to be somewhat dependent on starting board, but it is ultra dependent on starting board. They also changed how starting board works on the most recent patch, on the mini list of things that was changed in version 0.35 that I still haven't mentioned. But the way that starting board gets determined makes it so it won't overspam any one gem. It also capped out, I believe, the amount of skulls that can occur to 5, if I'm not mistaken. It wasn't actually mentioned in the patch notes, but it was changed. It was one of many things that was changed in the patch that wasn't actually in the patch notes. Hopefully this patch notes, they actually put everything there. Because missing like a dozen things last time. Who knows, maybe even things we didn't even discover yet. So if we have a block on this board, or stun, I mean, we might want to go for it. Because there's a small chance we die if we don't. We could always just barrier and be fine, but play it safe. I can't move that now, can I? I meant to move the other one. Doesn't matter that we don't have barrier yet. Though it will matter soon. Also, healing is very exceedingly bad now compared to every other perk. HP is just not high enough. It would heal me for 1,200. We don't even have that much HP. Healing is super bad in the current state of the game. Which is kind of unfortunate, because healing can be an actual meta build. But the way that the game is currently balanced makes healing really bad. The biggest issue is there's not enough HP relative to how much damage the enemies hit for to make healing viable. Because theoretically, one build that could exist is you heal more than the enemy damages. And then you basically just keep healing over and over again and be unkillable that way. Though you'd probably lose HP when they crit, so you'd still be able to die with infinite heals. It seems like it would kind of balance itself out, but it's currently unusable because everything hits too hard relative to your HP value, making heal never viable. I could stun there if I wanted to. No, I can't. Sometimes gym spawning can go the other way. Oh, now I might be able to. Hey! That's probably the first time I've ever seen Destroy actually help the Lightning Bolt destroy. Gave us stunned. We didn't really need it to win, but rather convenient. That was probably the only time I've ever seen Destroy be beneficial and not bad on Lightning Bolt. And probably the only time, because his percent chance is so low to begin with. Please click. Never mind. Yeah, but not if I click directly on it. Biggest issue with blue stacks is this little cursor is so ridiculously small. We'll have a proper cursor whenever they release on PC, of course. The blue stacks default one is kind of weird. It's so small and it looks exactly like a yellow gem. It's orange, but it still looks yellowish. Over top of these, it looks yellow. But if you put it over here, obviously, it looks more orange. It's the color of barrier. Or is that barrier? That barrier is still a different color than the other barrier, though. Yeah, we'll just go stun him, I guess. Doesn't matter. Everything's a win. And I will smite him. Oh, it's not gonna be enough to kill, is it? It's gonna make us have to cast for 111 damage, all ones. All ones into the wind. Yeah, diamond, diamond. Oh, almost triple diamond. I don't think we got a single triple diamond all stream. I believe they're all weighted about evenly, though, which is kind of convenient. But nope, no triple diamond. Not a double diamond, still a whole diamond chest, though. With a little bit extra. We're getting there. There's no way I'm going to get enough, though. But if nothing else, I believe we are going to have about 18 dungeon tickets by then. Plus, like, the 10 that I'm going to get while I'm gone. For the 1 per day thingy. So we should be fine on diamond chests. And then I don't need to worry about the game while I'm gone on vacation. I feel like the daily system for this game does make you check a little bit more often. Unless you power grind to get a bunch of diamond marks, you have to check the game pretty often to keep max loot. Theoretically, even once every hour like you do for Gems of War. Though that's a lot less required. The main thing that's required, obviously, taking chests. Which I'm going to take it this way. Because that should be nice. We get more gems that way. Oh wait, we didn't have a barrier or anything. Whoops. Oh good, he was just going to blight us anyways. That's fine. I almost died mid-battle for once. Pretty sure we have 0 times so far this stream. It does happen when you're not paying attention, though. Or if you're using non-paladin. Do we need mana? I'm just going to go for gold. Pretty sure everything's kind of maxed out. Oh, then again, mana does increase your middle option. It doesn't just increase these, it would increase this as well, which would have maxed it out. However, I don't think I'm casting it this turn, so maxing it wouldn't have mattered. So we did the right move. Currently, the amount of gold it gives is not correct, though. It says 240, though it's going to give us an amount that isn't 240. How much exactly, who knows, but it will not be 240. It'll be some number that isn't 240. I want to do that just so we can keep a shield gem in play, just in case. Not too big a deal, but you never know. Things can happen. A backup shield. Also, we have an extra turn stun on the board right now. If we're playing as not paladin, we would definitely go for it. However, it would be slower to do so we're just going to take damage. Or do damage, I should say. Might still be possible to get a stun. I we can still take the same stun if we want to. We could choose not to, though. Oh, never mind, we can still stun the other direction. And after all that, we still get the stun and all the damage. And the chip kill. Everything you could possibly want in a turn. Though, stunning and chip killing doesn't matter on the same turn. We gotta do one or the other. You can do both, but it doesn't give any specific benefit. Because they both solve the same issue, and that both will make it so they don't do damage to you. So you don't technically have to do both. You just need to do one or the other. Doing both doesn't give any specific benefit. But it's still fun. I'll take that over. Okay, we got stun in play if we want it. So I don't really think we want it. Pretty sure I could just kill him by doing this. Should be enough damage. Oh, we still got the stun after all. It really will not matter though. That should kill. And even if it didn't, he was just gonna do fist. So he was also stunned, so he wouldn't have even done that. Come on, diamond! Nope, nope. We're not close enough though. Ruby and diamonds are what we mostly want to see. Every other mark is pretty useless to us. Also, I wish salvaging gave some marks. It'd be rather convenient. I feel like salvage value is very low. The amount of gold is basically 0. Go check. How close are we to the next objectives? I don't think we're going to be able to get 100 this stream. But we definitely got quite a bit, because we barely had any before we started. And now we're all the way at, I forget exactly what we started at. I think we're at like 10 or 20. And now we're at 46, which is pretty good progress. We need 100. Definitely not getting it this stream, that's for sure. Takes a while. It goes a little bit slower. Oh, our thingies already. Which reminds me, I should probably be taking Gems of War tribute. Though because it'll probably lag too much, I should probably take it off a phone. Normally I take it simultaneously, because we're streaming, I keep forgetting. Oh no, I forgot you're crafting now. I can't upgrade you. Because I accidentally clicked craft instead of the upgrade earlier. Well, luckily it's at least synced with our chest, if nothing else. That's why I like doing diamonds. You don't have to worry about timers in this game if you just do a bunch of diamonds. Or at least not as much as you would otherwise. You basically just check once a day or a couple times a day and you're good to go. But with that being said, let me go check your review on Gems of War. We're gonna need that for this weekend. I gotta spend like 3,000 gems on it because we need to we need the higher amount of gems so we can have it for vacation, so we can get it done really quickly. I really hope this delve, out of every delve that ever comes, will be a 3-room delve. There's a chance it's gonna be a 4-room. Salty didn't do our stream, so we have no clue which way it will be. So really, you hit us for 7,000? Pretty sure that's the first time they crit on turn 1. What's really funny is, I'm not sure if it's been happening, because I haven't really been paying too much attention to it, but they can actually critical 0, which I always find pretty funny. If they do a critical on barrier, they will do a red 0, which means they criticaled, but they hit on barrier, so it doesn't do anything. I'm actually surprised that critical doesn't half hit through barrier or something. That could be one workaround they could do too. Wait, why does Gems of War have a download? That's weird. When did we get stuff for Gems of War? There's no way I didn't update it since the previous game. No, for sure we have. We've taken tribute on it many times.
That was a heroic effort.
I got the itty bitty yeti pets. 24 gems. Gosh, tribute is so strong this late in the game. We're gonna need like 3,000 though for Friday. Too bad I probably won't have enough time to do the stream. I kind of still want to cover the dungeon on Friday because we won't be able to otherwise. The only problem with that is I would have to do it at like 3 AM in the morning, which would make me very tired for when I go on my trip, which I don't want to do. It's a rather inconvenient time. I hate how late the reset is for Gems of War. One nice thing about this game is it actually resets at a pretty reasonable time for my time zone. It resets at 8 AM or 7 AM, or sorry, 7 PM or 8 PM, depending on where the time zones are, or where the, not time zone, but the, what's it called? The daylight saving time, depending on where it is. Currently it's at 8. And once it goes by an hour, it'll be at 7, which is actually a better time because it's before our stream, rather than exactly at our stream. Because we always stream every night at 8 PM Eastern Standard Time doing Gems of War course. Also, once Puzzle Quest 3 finally has an official release and everything, we will have a more, like actual schedule for Puzzle Quest 3. It won't be as common as a Gems of War stream, which we'll obviously do every single day. But the Puzzle Quest 3 streams will have some kind of schedule. Who knows, maybe we'll have a daily schedule at some point. There's definitely not enough dailies in this game to justify a daily schedule though. But whenever officially does get a release, we'll at least be doing this game at least once a week. Which almost we've been kind of doing now. I've mostly just been doing major patches though. 0.35 right now. And I wanted to get it out before they do the update. Which they're probably doing while I'm on vacation. Worst possible time. Oh, that would explain it. Because since yesterday, I've just been claiming tribute on C. Which is normally where I clear my tributes unless I'm out and about. Or we're doing another game simultaneously, just so it doesn't lag the game we're playing. No, I'm just gonna outright kill it. We don't even need stun. No stun required. Should be more than enough damage. We're gonna be hitting it for almost 2,000 because it's purple, so it takes double. Oh wow, more than 2,000. We hit it for almost 3,000, guys. That would have killed at full HP. Okay, we do not have barrier here. It shouldn't really matter. Oh, Heroic? Oh, no Heroic. Also, they made Heroic take 8 turns instead of 7 now. Mostly because Cascades are pretty crazy in this game. And it should be a dead. Ah, there we go! Another one down. Give us our diamond marks. We're gonna need them for while we're gone. Boo. Oh, yay! We did get 1 diamond stack. Also, it's about time we go throw a extra stack down, which is a really bad use of gold, but there's like almost nothing else to use it on. But we need more stacks for vacation, so gotta get them all we can. Because while I'm on vacation, I'll probably be playing for like less than 30 minutes a day, if even that. Probably enough to check the chest and do PvP, and that's probably about it, which would also be enough to do bounty. Okay, this is somewhat problematic, though luckily we have blue stun on board, which I'm actually going to go for. It's something you would do a lot on other hero classes. I normally don't need to on Paladin, but on before we get things rolling, we do. Okay, we got barrier, we should be good to go. If I can just find yellow, that'd be great. I really don't want to use my ability to get yellow, but I think we might have to. Really? What a horrible location to put both of them. Horrifically bad location. I think we should be rolling now. Yeah, we won. It's already over. It kind of reminds me of like Truffle in Gems of War. Like, you know the exact moment you already won the battle. It's just a matter of putting the time in to actually win the battle. But you already know you won at this point. Unless you misclick or do something extremely wrong. Also, why is there so many wolves? That's like the worst one to find. At least with this build. It's like the one thing we don't want to find in this area. Because they're the slowest one to kill for this build. Because the dragons take double damage because they're purple and the things create 1 billion yellows. And that will always be the same and the boss will always be the same. I'm just gonna hold off on barrier. Doing that just to build up the meter in case we need it. I don't think we will though. Oh, critical actually helped us kill. Oh, never mind, we would have killed without a critical. Also, you can go durability to have a leeway hit if we really wanted to. Especially if we get blind, because blind makes our auto attacks go down by half. I haven't really been doing it though. Not really that needed. I really hope they do give more options for what you can choose between. No! That ruined our good move! Oh, I can't stun him now. I'm not sure if we have enough to chip kill. Oh, let's just hope we do. I think we do because we killed about a true yellow by doing that, if nothing else. So that should be enough to kill him. Oh yeah, we got Heroic. He's over. He's dead. No way he survives that. Even without Heroic, that would have been enough. Hey, we're not terrored. How much thing do we have? 182. Yeah, it's the same as before. Also, I almost just clicked the retreat button. That would have been a fail. Almost retreated from our auto win. Oh no, 9 AM isn't that awful. Depending on when you wake up. That would only be awful if you go to work at like 8 or something. then that'd be very awful. Oh no, my extra turn got ruined. Oh, stunning doesn't matter. We got barrier. And then after that we have more barrier. Paladin is way too invincible. There's no way they're not rebalancing it Paladin in some way. How they're going to balance it, I have no clue. That's basically the only hero class that exists in the current state of the game. Unless they literally do a game mode where it forces you to have to use a different hero class. And just because we have enough damage, I might as well do meter. Not because we need it, but because it'll help speed things along, kind of. Not really. It's one regardless. And I was like, smite it should be enough, hopefully. Oh, actually, that did a little bit less damage than anticipated. We still have enough damage in play to win. Oh wait, are we actually slightly short? Oh no, that's enough. I was gonna say, that should be enough. He is frost, so he does take a little bit less from the fire, but still. It'd be very surprising if that didn't kill. Straight ruby! Well then, not exactly what I need, but I'll take it. Nothing but straight rubies. I wonder if I should keep some rubies just so we could run it for a day. It's not too bad checking it twice instead of once. But I like diamonds. So we'll go all diamonds. Not real diamonds though. Real diamonds are way overpriced and you should never get them. But this game's version of diamonds are good. Let's see. Let's convert them up a little. Also, look how many more rubies we got compared to diamonds. Which I definitely, I mean compared to golds, I mean. Definitely can't complain though. We only got enough gold to do this 4 times. Yeah, we got enough rubies to do this like almost 9 times. Well, technically if you don't count these, it was more like 8 times. But still. I guess getting 4 rubies at once kind of helps. Yeah, I'm definitely not going to reach enough by the time I leave. We'd have to hit a little over almost 4,000 to have enough. And we will be lucky if we hit 2,000. But I can run iron until we leave, which will make it a little bit better. And we can also use our dungeon loot tickets while we're left. And that would give us a bunch of marks. I believe we're currently doing around 10 to 12 dungeons per hour. And if that is the case, let's say 10 per hour. That means the amount of tickets we have over the course of the time will be basically 2 hours of dungeons, which should help close the gap as far as our mark amounts. Because each day consumes 360 diamond marks, assuming you're running straight diamonds the whole time, which is generally what I do due to legendary chance on them. They have a co-op mode too where you actually have a higher chance of getting diamonds if you want to like actively play instead of doing marks. Though you could technically do both simultaneously and do dungeons on max difficulty with a group. It's currently hard to coordinate though because a lot of people can't consistently do max dungeons. Also, even if you can consistently do max dungeons, you will eventually lose them because starting board is awful sometimes. So it's currently not viable to really do them yet. But it probably will be at some point. You completed Merit Halls on 500 yesterday. Nice, congrats. Great to have done. It's also one of the better farming locations too, so you probably got a lot of loot while doing so. I believe it has the second highest of any dungeon in Gems of War. Or I should say Delve, I mean. What's kind of funny is Explorer in Gems of War is actually more like dungeons in this game. Okay, you got a terror, so that will do literally nothing. Good to see. Do I deliberately want to pass my turn? No. As long as this doesn't lightning bolt, we're fine. Good. taking gold here just because we're getting full mana anyways with the stun. Theoretically, that gold will help. It's like one singular mark, in a sense. A little bit of progress. Because every 11,000 gold gets us an extra stack.
That was a heroic effort.
Which isn't much. I really hope they reduce the cost of marks by like half. Because the only reason we're doing it is because there's nothing else to spend gold on, not because it's good value. Next patch might finally add a gold sink properly though. They kind of removed every gold sink from the game in the most recent patch, but then also didn't add any, which is kind of weird. Which makes me assume next game mode will indeed have a gold sink attached to it, because it's a little bit weird that in the most recent patch they removed every single one from the game pretty much. Which would make me assume that the new game mode would be the main gold sink in the game. That should be coming out next week.
That was a heroic effort.
Should I ever check the forum? There's no way they've actually patched it while I'm streaming though. It's worth checking. You never know. Let's see. Yeah, there's nothing on it. Nothing on it. Anyways. Let's see. I'll go for that. Get our armor up. Yeah, as long as you have one copy of Copycat and one copy of whatever the legend is called, I forget its name. But as long as you have that, you'll be good to go for Mirrored Halls. Because that's basically the main gimmick, is you have one of the legends, you have one of the Copycat, you can keep spamming your mana, and with the legendary's ability, you have the capability of copying the enemy team. It's one of the few delves where you can run almost anything, in the sense that you have to start with pure faction, obviously, for it to count as pure faction. But by the end of the delve, your team is completely different than what you started with normally, because you can copy any troop from any of the battles, which is pretty fun. It's probably one of the most diverse factions as far as what you have as your team by the final battle. Though now that we have Lycanthropy in every single delve, theoretically every delve can now be a completely different team by the end. You still have to start pure faction, obviously, but with Lycanthropy gems, your team could be literally a full team of beasts by the end, which is pretty funny. You could literally just prep on the first battle, reduce their team down to only one enemy that doesn't do a cast that's threatening, and then just set your whole team to be beasts and just keep re-rolling them until they're all good. It would take forever, but if you really want to get a pure faction done while you have the Lycanthropy effect for the next several weeks, it's worth considering, because it would make some pure factions quite a bit easier, though it would take a very long time. But it would save you a lot of gems, like literal thousands of gems, so it could be worth it in that regard. Yeah, triple diamond! Not a quad because we're not empowered. That's exactly what we want to see. I wish we could do that every single time. We could get this done in like a few hours. Unfortunately, that's not how the drop table works. Hello, Godralis. Welcome, welcome, welcome. If anyone has any questions, anything you still want me to go over, do let me know. We will eventually have a proper schedule for puzzle quests. The game needs more content first, though. Though it does seem like it's adding a really good game mode next patch. Though we don't know if it's actually going to be good, but it has potential to be good. If they actually make it good or not is questionable. Oh, he died. It's questionable, though. Biggest issue is if it has a limitation on it, like a energy system or something. Because it might just be a daily and not a infinite farm. I feel like this game needs more infinite farms, because right now it's basically just dungeons. It definitely needs a proper infinite farm that isn't just dungeons. Let's see, we'll take that over, take that over, take that over. I don't think we can do much with the rest, but we'll still keep moving stuff. No, we didn't gain barrier! No! Yes! No!
That was a heroic.
We had a chance there, it didn't happen. We had one extra 30%. Gosh, we're getting some really bad starting boards all of a sudden. Very unfortunate. Heroic effort, unfortunately, does not make you any more survivable. In the past Puzzle Quest games, it would give you a bunch of EXP. In this Puzzle Quest game, it gives you a bunch of extra power. Which, unfortunately, power doesn't keep you alive. It would if we had healing abilities and stuff. But generally speaking, power doesn't keep you alive. This is also a pretty bad board, but good enough to hopefully not die. Good. We won. It's already over. Good job, Paladin. You survived turn 1. Claim your free victory. I'll take barrier here just in case. Oh, and we got stunned. So that stun wasn't really needed. Pretty sure that's enough damage to kill even without stun. Yeah, that would have killed regardless. You only have 9 delves left to go. Nice. Yeah, it feels good to finally have them done. Because if you don't want to, you don't have to do dungeons as daily anymore once you finally have them all done. Some people still do. I personally don't, though. Because it takes like 30 minutes to do them if you're doing on a level 500. So I personally skip it as a daily. Honestly, I'd almost rather do the arena daily, which a lot of people also skip on, rather than doing dungeons daily. Like, progressing through them is nice because it actually feels like you're getting progress, but when you're just doing delves for just for the loot, it doesn't seem as rewarding. Mostly because most of the loot becomes dead currencies, which I really hope this game does not do. They have a really bad habit of making 1 billion dead currencies, and they're already starting to do that in Puzzle Quest 3, though it's not released yet, so we don't really know for sure what the state of the game will be like. But as it currently stands, there are so many dead currencies already. Gosh, I love the animation on this bow. I'm not sure why, but I always like bows in various games, bow builds. Bow's really weak in this game, but I love the animations for it. Something about bow just always feels fun. There's almost no game where bow is not fun.
That was a heroic effort.
So far, heal is like the only one that is never worth taking in the current state of the game. Unless you're damaged to like single-digit HP, or you know, like 3 digits or less. It's like the only time you would take a heal, probably. Oh, we might actually finally be able to get a skip timer turn, which was a natural function, but it should be a skip timer. Yay, you got a skip timer. I got it a couple times in stream, surprisingly. It only happens a little bit more often. Though we'd need to get more scorpions for it to happen. And we haven't been getting as many scorpions. Quite a few dungeons actually have scorpions in it, so it's pretty convenient. I think like 3 of them do, if I'm not mistaken. Which is a pretty decent amount relative to how many times some of them show up. Question. What's that? Merkin's blade weapon is from City of Thieves, though, right? I have no clue. Normally, most of the off-meta weapons I don't really remember. That is one I do not recall. Speaking of that, someone's trying to call me right now. Pretty sure it's junk mail. I like never answer the phone. Unless it's family that I know the number of. I literally do not ever answer the phone for anything. Too much junk mail. Let's see. We'll take that over, 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 take that over. I think that's the move. There we go, good enough. We won. Successfully won the battle on turn 1. Probably barrier, just in case. Safety barrier. Oh wait, that's not what I meant to click. Oh, if we die here, that would be such a fail. Good, we didn't die. But yeah, weapons rotations are going to be a little bit weirder now for delves and gems of war. The main reason for this is they're now based on whatever the kingdom week is. So I guess that's actually a little bit less weird in a sense, because now they'll be synced to whatever the kingdom is. But it's weirder in the sense that it's always been in a certain pattern, but now it doesn't do that pattern anymore.
Oh, I can get extra turn, can I? It's not too big a deal, but let's move that over, I guess. It's the only move we have. This Paladin doesn't matter if we don't get extra turn. We can just do Paladin things and be fine. I probably should use the light move there so we can use fire on the other one. Fire hits for like 1,000 something on the other guy because it's double. Light would do base amount. Slight mistake, but not too big a deal. As long as we regain barrier here, which we can easily do off this ability. Or stun. Or both. Both is fine. I could take it one more yellow. Oh well. It wouldn't have been a difference between def or not, so that's fine. It's saving the fire form would have been 1,341. Light does like 800 something. Because it counts as green, so it takes double to fire. This one takes half from fire. It's a good thing we don't have our fire ability anymore. Oh, I can't get a stun here, can I? Luckily he should be dead to this. Oh, the problem is if we don't get full meter here, we could actually die next turn. Oh, we got full meter. What am I thinking? Paladin dying. We still have 0 deaths that weren't from the start. We'd really have to mess up bad to not to end up managing a death with this build. Well, pretty much any Paladin build works relatively similarly though. We got a stun just in case. Oh, if I can click correctly. That was very laggy. Why did it do that? Takes less damage to fire. Doesn't matter though. Still dies in 2 hits. And he's down. Also, just for the sake of trying a different dungeon, let's go do a different dungeon for a little bit. At least a couple runs. We keep fighting the same enemies over and over again, so we keep taking the same dungeon. I do hope whoever they hired for the 3D modeling does more 3D models, so we can actually get more enemy diversity. Highly doubt will happen anytime soon, but the game definitely needs a little bit more enemy diversity. That or a lot of recolorings. But let's see, our things will be ready pretty soon. Looks like in half an hour they should all be ready. Which is probably about how long we'll stream for. See how close are we on the next buff. Then we'll go around a different location for a little bit. Oh, we're a while. We'd have to go another 8. Technically 8 and 9 would get both of them. But definitely something we'd still want to aim for. But probably not this stream. Let's see, which one's pretty close? Let's do Mace. Azurite Halls with Mace. I think we have a yellow Mace as well, which is pretty convenient. Let's go run some Azurite Halls. A little bit of change of pace. Because I believe that one has a dragon. Actually, let me do one that guarantee has a dragon. Do you have a dragon? I can't remember. No, you have Iron Alpha. Let's see. Do you have a dragon? You do, the ice dragon though. I'd rather have the green dragon. Which one is the green dragon from? I think we have to run wands or something else. Where's the green dragon? Here it is. What weapon do we need for this place? Okay, we can do that. Alright, let's go do that. Oh yeah, I forgot. We have to do it on not max difficulty though, because we haven't done it on the higher difficulty yet. At that point, I almost want to use the weak build then, because I don't really need the chest from this location. I forgot, because I don't have higher difficulty done on Paladin on most of these locations. Oh, I might have to stick with the one. Because I forgot, we still haven't upped most of these to max difficulty yet for Paladin. I did it for every single one on Assassin, but I haven't done it for all of them on Paladin yet. I think only like a third of them do. Unfortunate. I might just stick in the same location though. If we do 9 more times, we can end up getting the buff, so you know what, let's do it 9 more times then. I think that's the game plan then. Get 9 more runs in here, get our other chests open. And we'll call that a stream for now. As far as version 0.35. Because we've gone over pretty much everything that we could have related to it this stream. We're probably going to lose this battle. Really bad starting board. Really bad. dead. Come on, give us those good starting words. Also, we're almost level 100 in this game. It takes so long to level up. Even the most efficient way to gain EXP in the entire game, I believe with how much EXP we need, it would take like almost 2 hours to gain a level. It takes a very long time. Though it kind of makes sense because you get some pretty big benefits for leveling. Like really substantial compared to Gems of War. Like leveling is very strong in this game. Also, there's no cap to leveling, at least that we currently know of, unless they eventually add one. So you always gain more power from being higher level, unlike Gems of War, where it kind of caps off at about 1,000 or 2,000 technically. Whereas in this game, it never stops. Higher level is always better than not higher level. We don't have a stun, but it's not going to matter. We have a backup barrier. Just got to stagger the barriers and we'll be good to go. I don't think we're getting a chip kill here, though. It doesn't really matter. If anything, it's almost beneficial that he stays alive because we get to create more yellow gems off the board. Oh, also, he does nothing, so it also works. We're probably going to take the barrier anyway, so even if he hit us, it wouldn't have even mattered. I could still not take it. Oh no, it just got spawned off him. It happened during an animation when the thing was coming up. What do we take here? I guess we'll just take a move. He's already stunned, so it doesn't matter. Plus, even if it wasn't, we're regaining barrier. There we go. Though the re-barriering does take place prior to the hit. If he wasn't stunned. So technically getting that barrier there actually wouldn't have made any difference. I could chip kill here, but it's Paladin, so we don't need to. If you're playing anything that wasn't Paladin, you could chip kill there. That would be the strategy. But we have infinite barrier, so it doesn't matter. Let's see. I'm actually curious how on earth they're going to balance Paladin. The amount of lack on balance on is very hilarious. Unless it's intended to literally be unkillable. Pretty sure it's not, though. I hope they never remove chip killing, though. Chip killing's a very fun strategy. It's very strong, though. It seems like it's an intended strong, though. These actually requires you to think out the board quite well. As well as how much damage each ability does, so that you get exact amounts of chip kills. I had to like literally math out like almost every single turn I did with the assassin. Because as far as chip killing, he's actually the strongest at doing it, just because he can change how much damage he does at any point by using his ultimate. So you can just figure out all of his percents and then figure out what on earth you need to do. Probably one of the most time-consuming hero classes to use, but it's also the strongest if everything gets nerfed other than chip killing. Because Paladin can actually change how much damage reduction has by how many shield gems are on the board. But one interesting thing about Assassin is he doesn't have to worry about them getting removed. So in the case of Paladin, all the things will get removed on the board before it checks for the amount of damage reduction, which doesn't really matter because you gain barrier, so it being removed doesn't really matter. But with Assassin, you can actually use it for damage, do your ability, and then choose if you want the higher damage or not by the fact that it still stays in play and you can do all your damaging abilities. Because you can just cast it and do all your damaging abilities, or choose not to cast it and have a different amount of damage, so you go for a certain chip amount and then kill it exactly. Because the main strategy that seems like it's intended for this game is you want to kill every final enemy by taking mana off the board. That's like the main strategy. Though Paladin somewhat bypasses it. But that seems to be the main strategy within the game. Also, why is my mouse not moving? Did my mouse get disconnected? Mouse? Hello? Hello? It's still on. Why is it not doing anything? Mouse. 1 second. Technical difficulties. I can move it with my pad. There it goes. Let's see, is the mic still on? Can you hear me? Let me double check. Hold up. Alright, mouse is back. Mike, are you still doing mic things? Yes. Good, okay. That was weird. Mouse does that sometimes. Not sure why. It's being weird. Come on, yell off a sky! That was not a yell off a sky. Also, one thing that's somewhat unfortunate about this game compared to Gems of War, you do not really go for sky gems in this game. I feel like I almost never try to go for sky. It doesn't seem like it's really that viable of a strategy compared to Gems of War, which is probably one of the only things that seems a little bit weird, because sky gems were always pretty fun, but you can't really properly do it in this game. For one, there's no storms in this game, so you can't like increase the chance of any specific one, but even before then, I still feel like you do it more in Gems of War. There's just barely any instance where you have to try going for a sky gem, or even can go for a sky gem. I think it's mostly because of how many turns you have at your disposal is the main thing that's causing it. Because you have infinite turns, you just have a time limit for how many turns you can do within that time frame. I don't have a stun on this board, do I? Though also, does it even matter? He's gonna die from chip. It really doesn't matter what we do with this turn. Is my background a Dark Pits background? No, the background we have behind us right now that I never bothered changing. I was going to change it based on the Kingdom, but then I got lazy and just kept it as the first one we ever did, which was Mr. Scales. But no, just Mr. Scales background. Go to Mr. Scales Kingdom for Gems of War. I should probably start changing it up a little bit though. Nope, it's just the Mr. Scales background. With the animation playing over it as a like 10-second GIF loop. Actually, that's something I never checked. I wonder if the Terran's World files has the loop animation for that. Because then I could just put the background there and then put the loop animation and it would be a flawless loop. Because it's so hard to try to record the loop properly. It's not really that noticeable that it's not a perfect loop, but it isn't. Oh, luckily it's not noticeable, so it doesn't really matter too much. I'm not sure if Terran's World has a file for it though. But if they did, it would be very easy to implement because we just have to put the background, and then above the background we just have to put the looped animation. Currently they're both one file instead of 2 files. Because it's literally just a recording of the game. The other problem with that is you can only record certain sections because it's impossible to get the background completely solid. Because the troops normally in the way. So you can only record certain sections of it for the background. Which means some parts of the background you can't ever use in the current state. Unless you can get the actual animation file. Or we could just put any background behind us, but then it doesn't have the animations. But we could always find a similar animation. Like most of them are just some kind of simple fire effect or light effect or something pretty basic. Mrs. Scales has like a smoke effect thing, like a swamp. Also, currently no backgrounds in this game has any animation towards it. Although, if nothing else, maybe we should change our background whenever we do a Puzzle Quest 3 stream to the Puzzle Quest ones. I'm not sure. What is the best background for this game? We always check Terran's World. I'm gonna bring them up on screen real quick. Might as well. They do backgrounds pretty well. They did it for Gems of War, and they did it for this game very well as well. Every single dungeon has a different background to it. Not the physical 3D area that we're in, but but the actual background for the other area. Like when you're going through the loading screens. Like that you can see right there. Let's see, let me see if I can find a link for it real quick. I might not have the link, it's a really weird link. Let's see. Let's see if I can go find it. Oh wait, I forgot, I'm not on Steam, so I can't open it through the thingy. Oh no! I would open on my other computer though. Let's see, which one's the absolute coolest? I think the Dragon Head one might be the coolest. Azrael Hall is pretty cool, but it looks too much like Karkaroff in what's that one? The dwarf one in Gems of War. The Keyzale, I mean. Yeah, that one looks pretty cool. It's like a dragon head thing. I think it's chapter 5. Yeah, I think this one might be the coolest one. That one. There's a couple other pretty cool ones. The Azrael Halls is a pretty cool one. Let's see, this one right here. And what other ones? Also, it looks even cooler when it doesn't have any graphics blocking it. And the rest of them do what they need to do. They're all pretty cool. So it looks like there's a couple here that aren't used yet. Ooh. Ooh, unused assets. Actually, I wonder if the website got updated. I don't think it did to get updated with all the other new assets that are coming. Let me go double check. I don't think it did. I don't think he's updated it. He pulled a bunch of assets from the game in like version 0.34. However, I don't believe it has all the new assets. Though those look new. What are those? I don't recall those. I'm pretty sure it's just not used in the game, not necessarily new. Yeah, I'm not seeing the new assets. I don't think he downloaded them. Unlike Gems of War, I don't think it retroactively updates the Puzzle Quest 3 graphics page. I'm not even sure if he plays the game. I know he made an account and then grabbed all the files so he could put it onto Terran's World, but I'm not sure if he actually plays the game. Actually, there's an easy way to check. I believe I have him added. Let's see if he plays the game. The person that runs the Terran's World website, which is a great resource for Gems of War. It seems like he might be running something for Puzzle Quest 3, though he doesn't know if he's actually going to be playing the game yet or not. So he might just only run it for Gems of War. But he does have a bunch of graphics for it, if nothing else. But if I go check my thing, I can actually see what level he is. If he's below level 30 or so, he's not playing the game. And if he's still level 10, he literally hasn't played since he grabbed the files. Let's see. I believe he's just called Terran. Friends list takes forever to load, though. Especially while we're streaming, gosh. Let's see. Does he play the game? No. He grabbed the files and then he's out. He pretty much just grabbed the files and left. That's pretty funny. Unless he's going to play it once it's fully launched. But anyways, we're still waiting on chests, aren't we? I saw that one of them are triggered, but still got 15 minutes till the rest of them are. So we still got a bit of time to grind. Back to our location. They'll probably open those chests and then call it a wrap once they're open in 15 minutes. Would have been a pretty solid Puzzle Quest stream at that point. But yeah, we will eventually have a proper schedule for Puzzle Quest 3. The game just needs more content first and to be more stable. But once they've gotten everything kind of sorted out a bit more, definitely have some form of schedule for it. Particularly when the Steam release finally comes around. We'll definitely have a schedule very soon after that, or literally as soon as it happens. But until the Steam release, we won't really have a proper schedule for this game. They kind of just do stuff when stuff happens, which is quite often given that they're still developing the game. Well, if nothing else, next patch we get a pretty cool game mode, or should hopefully be cool. I sure hope it's fun, because it seems like a pretty needed game mode as far as the loot. But we don't really know what the game mode will be like until it happens. Kind of like the new game mode coming in Gems of War as well. We're getting something related to gnomes that seems to be some kind of game mode next patch for Gems of War. And if you sign up for the beta, you'll be able to see what it is early. Well, I didn't sign up for the beta just because I have a feeling it's going to take place while I'm gone. So I didn't bother signing up. for this one. Actually, I haven't bothered doing any beta for Gems of War for like a little over a year now. Probably will again at some point. Probably once Puzzle Quest 3 is finally launched. I'd rather test this game than Gems of War. Also because there's not too much stuff to normally test in Gems of War. Also, nothing in the beta carries over. So any progress you make in betas for Gems of War specifically doesn't carry over. Whereas Puzzle Quest 3 does. All progress we make right now carries over to the official version of Puzzle Quest 3. Whenever it finally gets released in like a billion years. No, supposedly they're trying to get this game released by the end of this year. I still feel like that's a little bit optimistic. The game needs a lot of work. Though if nothing else, I hope they at least get a Steam release by the end of the year. Though I'm pretty sure they're planning the Steam release to be the official release of the game, kind of like what they did for Gems of War. Where they kind of soft launched a little bit beforehand, and then once it came on Steam, they counted that as the launch of the game. We actually have to take attack for once. Yes, that's what I originally was going to do. I was going to make it the animated background for whatever the week was. But then I got lazy with trying to record all the backgrounds because it's very annoying. Though we could just have the non-animated one and it'd be perfectly fine. And just do whatever the background is. We used to do that on our streams for Gems of War, and then we stopped. And then I was going to do the animated ones, and then I didn't bother. And now it's currently just miss the scales forever. But I might just go change back to the background. We used to do that way back in the day. And then I kind of stopped. Good thing that's a stun. I didn't actually re-barrier. I'm pretty sure that's enough to kill, so it doesn't really matter. Again, the only way we die is from not paying attention. That is literally the only thing that can possibly kill us. Is our lack of attentiveness. And even then, we still win. Seemingly. I don't think we've died a single time this stream from after getting past turn 1. That's 3 hours of no deaths. Not counting turn 1 deaths, which don't really count. Yeah, hopefully next patch we could do other hero classes more, so we're not just doing Paladin the whole time. Paladin is just way too strong to not run as the only hero class though. So they balance something. They either need to make every hero class a lot stronger or do something about Paladin. Staircasing. Staircasing actually is a lot more effective in this game than Gems of War. Mostly because you actually get a damaging effect for staircasing when you get heroic effort. Whereas in Gems of War you just get some mana or maybe some extra skull damage. But it normally isn't as consequential. Or a map. Which of course getting a map in Gems of War is very ridiculously bad. The loot of a map is very low. Also, we've only gained 1.5 levels this stream, haven't we? Gosh, leveling is so slow. As I said earlier, it takes like 2 hours per level these days. Though this isn't the quickest way to gain XP in the game, though. Though it is a quick method, but not the quickest. It's like about the difference of running like Rowan compared to Dust Devil Ironhawk team in Gems of War. It's about the difference of using this compared to running PvP. Actually, there's 2 really good XP methods. If you haven't finished all the side quests, there's a bit of an exploit way where side quest gives more XP, so you can do 2 battles and then die, and then keep doing that over and over again if you haven't finished all the side quests. Personally, I don't bother with that just because it's really annoying to do, but it does technically give quicker XP than PvP. Any other method is infinitely spam PvP. It doesn't give you honor or anything like that, but it does give you the highest XP rate in the game. So how's that going for it? Also, you need to do 2,500 PvP battles with every hero class in order to unlock a little bit extra mastery damage. Which is a lot of battles to do just for the little bit that it gives, but it adds up. I only did the 500 on every hero class, just because doing 2,500 takes forever. It takes absolutely forever. But of course that system is meant to be done slowly over time, not rushed all at once. Which is why it's like that. Though we will be done with the dungeons soon. We're more than halfway there. We have 7 dungeons completely finished and quite a few partially finished. I think this one we're halfway done with. These you gotta do every dungeon 100 times, technically. Theoretically, I think you have to do every dungeon 500 times, but realistically, 100 is where you get most of the value, so there's not much point going further. Kind of like with hero classes, you get most of the value from doing 500 PvP with every hero class, but technically you still get value from going to 2,500. Overwatch, nice. Yeah, I've never actually gotten into Overwatch or any of the kind of things within that genre for the most part. I've never been a huge fan of shooter games, personally. So I might stream Fall Guys a little bit tomorrow. There's an extreme mode that they're launching again. I never streamed it the previous time, so I'll probably try to get a Fall Guys stream in tomorrow. For a couple hours, won't be too long of a stream. Probably about as long as this one, probably. Or a little shorter, or about the same time. Around the same time as well, probably around noon or so. Figure we get one in before we leave. But it's basically the hardest mode they've ever added to the game. Basically, it's all the normal maps, but if you fall a single time, you die. And a lot of those maps were intended for you to kind of fall pretty often. Get to random people near you. So the strategy for them is quite vicious, but also pretty funny because everyone dies so quickly. Also, I believe it gives double the amount of crowns, so if you can actually win, it's pretty good. I'm not sure if I've actually won it yet, though, oddly enough. It might be the only sideshow I haven't won yet. But I didn't really play it too much when it was out initially. The first time it was around. I do like when they do double crowns for side game modes, though. Because it actually gives an incentive not only to do the side game mode, but to actually play the game. Because they don't really have much to bring you back. The daily system gives you like almost nothing for the game. I don't know, it doesn't really encourage you to come back on a regular basis. Unless they add new content or interesting new shows. I don't really play it too much. That's still a really fun game. I very thoroughly enjoy. Even though its player base has died by like 90-something%. That's still enough player base that it works. It got cross-platform with PlayStation 4 and 5 recently too. It's probably still a while until it comes out on Switch and Xbox. But it will eventually. Also, speaking of games like that, didn't Fortnite get Rick and Morty? I saw that the other day. I don't play Fortnite though. It's because I don't play the genre. But I found that pretty funny. And now that might be the only good thing about we got here. That might be the only good thing about Fall Guys being bought out by Epic Games, is they can get some really big names. Like most recently, they had I believe Disney owns it, right? Tron. They were able to get a Tron crossover in Fall Guys. Actually, I've never showed their skin on stream yet. We'll do that next stream. But they did a Tron bundle, where a bunch of characters from the Tron movie were basically added. I kind of got a little bit into Battle Royales. The only two I really like are Pac-Man 99 and Fall Guys, though, as far as Battle Royales. Most of the other ones I don't like, mostly because almost every other one's a shooter. Yeah, Pac-Man 99 and Fall Guys are the only two Battle Royales I've ever gotten into. Pac-Man's 99 is nice because it doesn't have seasons or anything. So you can just come in, play whenever you want, and just have fun. Because you don't have to worry about grinding a season pass or anything like that. So you just play it whenever you want to play it. It's also free on Switch anyways. It's technically free, you still need online, but most people have online. If you have a Switch, you probably have the online thing. It's only like 20 bucks a month. It's pretty cheap. Oh no, that's not, oh no! We finally died from being bad. Oh no, I should have barriered. Oh, our first death from not paying attention. Oh no, never mind. We didn't die. I forgot. Paladin's still invincible. We almost died. We got so ridiculously close to our first death of the stream that was not on turn 1. Oh no, Paladin's just invincible. There's quite a few enemies in this game that, for whatever reason, their first cast is so ridiculously bad and does no damage. So you can just survive for no reason. The wolf also has one like that. So we got to skip the timer. I say hello, Polo, welcome. But yeah, I'm pretty hyped for E3. Really curious to see what games get announced this year. It also probably determine some of our gaming schedule because I wanted to do Breath of the Wild for the first time ever in the month that it launches, as well as other things like that. Like I wanted to do, I'm not sure if that's really going to be at E3, but I wanted to do Hollow Knight about a month before Silk Song and stuff like that. Basically, every single time a game's about to come out that we haven't played the first one of, I basically want to go do it because we haven't done it yet, and then do the next sequel basically immediately after. So I'll basically be able to go straight from Breath of the Wild to Breath of the Wild 2, as well as straight from Silk Song, or from Hollow Knight to Silk Song, and everything like that. And basically do it side by side perfectly, playing it for the first time. That is the game plan. But since we don't know when the release dates are for these things, we can't really plan it ahead of time. Hopefully too many of them don't overlap. Also, I really hope Nintendo releases Mario Kart 9 this year. I also hope they have the mechanic that they did for mobile. It's probably one of the only good things the mobile version did, is you can actually upgrade your equipment over time and stuff like that. Of course, it's monetized like crazy in that game, which is why it's like that. But I really hope they do something similar in Mario Kart 9, because so far their mobile version of Mario Kart has been the only Mario Kart that has ever implemented the capability of actually upgrading gear and stuff like that, which is always a fun aspect of games like those, as well as any game for the most part. And it's something that Mario Kart series has never utilized until their mobile cash grab. But hopefully they'll do it for the mainline game. Just not monetize like crazy. You're dead. It doesn't matter what we do. I was gonna say, we don't have a stun, that doesn't really matter. We have barrier plus he's dead. Very dead. We even got a crit, not like it mattered. Though it was a very small damage crit because we only got like 1 or 2 skulls from to destroy off the yellow thing. Special gem that destroys a column. Yay, more diamonds. Yay, double diamond. Not triple diamond. We only got 1 triple diamond this entire stream, I believe. Obviously, it doesn't happen too often. Though very useful when it does, because that's the main thing we're looking for. That and gaining power as we go along. Yeah, we made some progress. I think we're at like, what, 1,000 when we started the stream, so quite a bit of progress. We're not going to have enough to go for the entire vacation, but these tickets should be able to cover the rest of the gap. So we should be fine. Anyways, let's go check our tavern. Actually, we could probably use some of those tickets now to try to put irons in here if we really want to, just to get those marks immediately. But I'd rather use it to try to get a diamond during the vacation. Okay, so I've never actually opened a single iron since this patch, so let's see what's in these things. Should be the same general junk, but hey, we got a bonus key. Because so far I've just been running straight diamonds. Okay, so we can get some lower shards. We can also get junk. Oh, also one other thing I forgot to mention. Stuff salvages for the actual rarity now. So this is uncommon, so it salvages for uncommon. Also has a small chance of giving you a relic, which are currently near non-existent. So far, nothing too good, though there are irons. I'm not really expecting anything too amazing. Normally they're just done for food and ore. I don't need this. I believe that just gives healing bonus. And red is an awful color to have it on. If you're going to have it on like yellow or purple. And ideally an epic. I'm not sure if you can even get an epic from an iron. Oh yes, guard shield! I've been needing that. And it's in purple too. I don't even have a purple shield. So remember when I was saying there's a very broken shield that wasn't working properly, but it now is working properly as a couple patches ago, and I haven't been able to get a single one since then? There it is. Oh, it has Rich on it too. Oh, I've been needing a shield that has resource gain too. Wow, it did everything I need. This is my new shield. So this shield is very broken. It has 30% extra block chance on turn 1, which obviously turn 1 is the only turn that matters. And then it loses some per turn, but that doesn't matter. Turn 1's what matter. And it's still pretty high for turn 2. It's still going to be 26%. So yeah, the shield is ultra ridiculously absurdly broken. And is now my new shield. I almost feel like leveling it to max. Though I know the second I do, I'm going to get like an epic version of it that will be better. But it also has Rich, so now we gain some extra gold with it too. So even more of a reason to use it. Because none of my shields currently had resources until now. Wow, okay. I was not expecting to get the exact drop we need off an iron, but that is exactly what we needed. It's all 3 things we needed from a shield. It's purple, which we didn't have. It's the guard shield, which is the correct shield type, which is the strongest shield currently in the game. And we got a gold bonus, which currently we don't have any resource bonus on the shield. Also, that means I can now update my open ticket build. So this uses every bonus that we have currently. And now the only thing we don't have a bonus for is necklace, now that we have gold for shield. There we go. So now we have gold, 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 nothing, EXP, 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 and EXP. Ideally, we'd want all of them to be EXP, but gold is fine if we don't have it. And currently, I don't have any necklace that does. I need to start saving like every necklace we get in hopes that it has gold or EXP on it, even if it's a useless one. But yeah, we currently don't have anything for necklace, but everything else has one now. So whenever we use tickets, it applies all those bonuses. So for example, right now, if I go check my bonuses on Hero, whenever we do a ticket or do anything, though we don't need to worry about being slower in battle, so we can just use whatever our bonuses are. So whenever we open a ticket now, or do anything for the most part, we will now gain 19% extra EXP and 37.5% extra gold, as long as we make sure to switch to this hero class. Compared to if we weren't doing this, if we go switch to our normal build, it is quite a bit substantially lower. Normally we'd get, did it not update correctly? Hold up, I don't think it updated correctly. We might have to go into battle and go back out. Never mind. It might not update, but it would be lower, is the bottom line. It doesn't seem like it updated correctly from the previous number, though. Anyways, well, we got the most perfect drop we could have wanted, so I'm not sure we're going to really outdo that with the rest of these irons. I sure hope, though. The only other thing we could possibly get is a necklace that has bonus on it. Nothing from that. This is salvage. So far only 1 iron key, though. We are using pretty low pets right now. Salvage that, salvage that. Iron key? No. That's pretty much going to be the best loot at this point. Oh, Bloodfang, though I already have it, and getting multiple copies is the same. Oh, wait, they're both blue, right? I might save this just because it is blue and it might have a different effect other than the XP, we'll see. We can save whatever we want, so we might as well. Until they change it so that you can't infinitely store stuff. I'm not sure if it's intended or not, but we're utilizing it. There we go. Actually, I almost want to use the tickets now. Just so we can do the dungeon marks. Not the other tickets, I'll be using all these during vacation. But these, because it gives us marks, which allows us to not need to worry about it, and then we could just go do a bunch of diamonds. So we'll go use all those. I will be salvaging most of them, though, I think. We're probably going to salvage most of them. Okay, so let's go claim our other things here. Anything good? Ruby key, yes, that's really good. Pretty much our best drop, other than a crystal and diamond key. Though based on realistic drop rates, that's her best drop because the other one drops so ridiculously rarely. And Mutiny is also done. I didn't mean to craft with her, but apparently we did. And we only got 1 ticket fail. It's not even a dungeon ticket. Happens sometimes though. I did not mean to craft with her. I had to keep it for Evelyn. Because her craft is just so ridiculously good. Especially since it has that crystal drop and there's almost no other way to get crystals currently in the game. It seems to be about a 1 in 30 drop or so. I've only gotten it once out of 100 something tries. Anyways, let's go use the new set that we just did. And just to make sure it is correctly applying the bonuses, let's go restart the game just to 100% guarantee that it is indeed doing it correctly. Oh, don't get cover. I don't want cover on this. Smart is better than cover at this point. Gosh. Might as well just salvage this, to be honest. Might as well just salvage it. I'll keep the EXP on, obviously. The blue is the optimal color you'd want to find that in because it does a bit more damage based on frost. And realistically, the only way to frost is off of blue. But still kind of weird, though. Hopefully we'll get it with a better perk at some point. But cover is really bad, and EXP is fine. We'd probably upgrade the EXP one if we really wanted to at this point. Anyways, so let me go change to the other builds, which gives us a bunch of resources, which we already did. Let me now restart the game just in case. Want to make sure it works correctly. Don't want it to jip us a little bit of EXP and gold when we could be getting it. And then we'll go open every dungeon loot ticket we have. Just for a little bit of fun loot. And any diamond and rubies will probably open. Though then again, ruby will be done at night, so maybe I don't open the rubies. I might salvage them. But if we get a diamond, we'll probably open it. I wonder what dungeon I want to do it on, though. I'm trying to think which one we'd actually want to target the drops on that we actually have Paladin done on. Probably the Savior set, in hopes that we get a better staff, or another Savior helm. Even though we have one in Mythic, it's still good to get it in other colors. In case they really start color restricting everything. Currently, the game doesn't have much in that regard. They even made PvP less restrictive in that regard. Oh yeah, that was something else I didn't go over. They made PvP a lot more accessible. You can actually just do uncommons in it now to get into every PvP category. So it's a lot easier to get in. They also made the weapon category for the level 50 category have 3 weapons instead of 1. Which made it a lot easier to actually have the weapon compared to before. And of course, you could just use an uncommon weapon of 1 to 3 and you're good to go as well. Alright, now that our bonuses should be right, let's go open a bunch of loot tickets and salvage basically every ruby. But probably open everything else. I hate when they're synced on different times. But it'll save us from having to do some diamonds now, so it's fine. I don't really like having them all on the same sync. Let's just double check that we have the correct build and the correct stats. Yep, still have those really big numbers. And still using the right build. Okay, let's go open a bunch of tickets. Now, let's go figure out where we want to go do it on. Let's see. If we have Savior maxed, I think we'll do it on Savior. I don't think she has Bone Ring maxed. No. I need to get all the dungeons maxed on Paladin at some point. Good, she does have Savior maxed. Or I assume so. So there's a couple good drops here. One is this. I believe this gives extra gold whenever we take yellow, I think. I actually forgot what Savior Belt does now. But the main drops we'd want to find is Savior Staff, Savior Helm, and that's basically it. This we already have in Legendary, so getting that again would be useless. This would be okay to get higher, but it's currently glitched to not do the extra damage. And that's not too good because it doesn't have any board control. So we're basically just hoping for a Savior Staff then. Almost every other drop would be bad. Let's see. Maybe we might want to find a different location then. Let's see what other ones are there. Overall, it wouldn't be too bad. I know we have you done. We obviously had this one done. I don't think this place had any good drop, though. We already have Bow and Epic. Boots and Epic or Legend could be good. We already have that. Trying to Frost and Epic or higher could be good. I also don't have her shield ability. I end up salvaging all of them. I used to have like 1 billion of her rare. I don't feel like she would ever really use red that often, though. It costs so much mana to use. It's like 120. I'll just do it in the Savior area. Hope for an Epic Staff. They would have to get at least gold chests to have a chance at it. Alright, I'm gonna go move this all the way to max. And not in power. I want to use a loot ticket. So it'll say X difficulty, right? Yes, it does. Okay, let's go loot this place. See what we get. 154 HP. That's a lot of HP, gosh. Diamond stacks. Diamond. Also, we'll give you 4 stacks. Wooden. Diamond. Nice. Double. And we got an iron. And these chests are specifically going to drop from the kingdom. So we got Ruby. Ruby, nice. Diamond, nice. Ruby, really good. And a Ruby! Should I open this Ruby? Unfortunately, I can't use the normal opening, like using a key. I think I have to salvage it. As weird as that may seem. Mostly because 11 hours from now is way too late at night. So I don't want a chest like that. That's literally the only one I don't want to see. Also, why is my ticket number not moving down? The number's not updating properly. Our actual amount is... Not one specific one, is it? Yeah, Ruby's literally the only one I can't open right now. The time it would open would be too weird. I'll take woodens. All the dungeon marks. Ruby again. Gosh, it's gonna give me all the rubies when I don't want ruby. How awful is that? The one time we don't want to see rubies. I'm just gonna keep giving me rubies because I don't want to see ruby. That's how it works. That is exactly how this works. Gosh, we got a lot of XP with all these XP bonuses. 154 each time. It's not bad at all. Normal skirmish would probably almost be 80 with all of the XP bonuses. Oh, gold. I forget if gold even has a chance at epic. Pretty good chance at rares though. If it does have a chance at epic, it's very ridiculously rare. Currently, if you want to get epics, you want to do rubies, and if you want to get legends, you do diamonds. So I believe the chest prior does have a small chance at doing them. Kind of like how irons can do rares, so it's a really low chance compared to a gold. And obviously other higher chests. Pretty bad marks there. Got 3 chest slots left. Unless we want to start scrapping the woodens. We'll probably just open them. Hey! There we go. Too bad I can't open it right now. But yeah, I'll open that for tomorrow. Why not? That's where the good loot is. It's only 3% chance too every single time we do this. I'm not sure why everything else doesn't have percent chances. Dungeons are literally the only thing that currently has them. Good, got some diamond marks in there. 1 chest left. And 4 tickets left. Unless we want to start scrapping some woodens. But I could always do this off stream to get the other ones down. Just to have the marks ready to go. And there we go. I'll probably just roll with that. And then you just set the pets to go and open all the chests. Though obviously we want to use our highest... also you notice all these are marked with a little symbol. These are because they're all from a specific dungeon. So they specifically drop from that drop table that we saw earlier. The one over here. The savior set. But all of them will drop from, or most likely from this drop table. They can still drop other stuff. They're very likely to drop these drops. Unfortunately, relic chance is still like nearly 0. But let's see what we get. Mostly trying to find epic savior staff. Ideally in yellow or red would be the main thing we want to pick up. And we likely won't, but hey, there's a chance. Anyways, let's go figure out what we want to do with these. So this one's the absolute highest percent chance we have. So if I have an octogol, I should probably go do that with you. And now we'll set pretty much everything else to octogols that are either iron or gold. Oh, that's gonna set my timer on off a little bit weird though. Oh, that's fine. Not too big a deal. Though they really need to fix the sorting for these things. They are so absurdly annoying. The current sorting system for pets makes it very tedious to set all the pets. This will likely be fixed at some point very soon, hopefully. Especially since they added more slots. But currently, there's no search menu, plus the sorting for them is kind of weird. It also defaults not based on level now, which is what the default was before, which was a lot more convenient, and now it doesn't do that. They also don't seem to order next to each other, even if they're in the same level range, in the same name, yet they don't appear next to each other, which is also annoying. So now I need to go to alphabetical just to see if we have more octogols. Definitely have a billion uncommon ones, that's why I thought we still had one more. And now for all of our woodens, we'll probably just put a bunch of horses on them. They're pretty quick with key chance. They're actually probably the best thing to be using for, they're probably the best pet in the game for opening chests quickly, in the sense that they both have a good key chance, but a good key rate opening. Just makes them one of the stronger ones whenever they finally nerf the octagles from being ridiculously way too broken. There's no way the octagles are intended. Otherwise, every single pet you would ever have are an octagle and would never be anything else. But anyways, guys, does anyone else have any other questions? Otherwise, it's pretty much a wrap as far as puzzle quests. We won't be covering it again for at least a couple weeks because we won't be back until a couple weeks. But when we get back, there should be a new version of the game, I am pretty sure, which will be bringing in a new game mode. So we'll get to have a lot of fun with that and go from there. It should be bringing in supposedly a high amount of crystals as well as glyphs, as well as relics. All the things that were basically added this patch that are near non-existent. Oh no, I ran out of horse. Do I have enough to upgrade another horse? I do. To the upgrade. There we go. I fixed the horse issue. Okay, and now our chests are the weirdest I have ever seen them. However, that should be good enough. If nothing else, it saves us marks. And those saved marks now allow us to have more for vacation, which is convenient. Actually, we got a lot of ruby marks there. Gosh, I almost feel like keeping some of them out. I just love running diamonds so much because you don't have to check them. They're a lot less annoying. And for that reason, I will go convert them all. But our next Puzzle Quest 3 stream will probably be, actually I'll do it off stream. It's going to be really tedious to do. They don't have a mass pi 10 or pi 50 or whatever option yet. They'll probably add it at some point. But anyways, guys, I'm going to be heading out for now. I hope you all have a wonderful week. Our last 3 streams will be Gems of War tonight and tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, with the one tomorrow night being the very last one. And we'll also probably do Fall Guys at noon tomorrow. Same time we started this stream, for probably about the same amount of time we'll stream it. I'll mostly be doing the hard mode that they have, which should be pretty fun. I believe it gives double crowns as well. So I don't think I've won it yet either, but it's mostly because I haven't tried to win it yet, for the most part, too many times. But it's definitely very difficult, that's for sure. But I'll mess with that. Should be a lot of fun. And then we'll have our final Gems of War stream tomorrow night, as well as tonight, of course. Same time as always, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will eventually have some kind of schedule for Puzzle Quest 3. Ideally, more so when they finally release on Steam. That's probably a couple months away from now still. But whenever they do finally get close to it, we'll be covering it quite extensively. Obviously, I can't really cover too many guides and stuff like that because everything keeps changing pretty much every month with this game. So it's kind of hard to cover anything in relation to that because it gets changed pretty much immediately. And would only give them ideas of what to nerf. They'll probably check the stream as well and just make a list of everything they need to nerf. And then we'll go find another billion things for them to go nerf. Because there's so many things not balanced yet. But anyways, guys, I hope you all have a wonderful week. Oh, actually, not weekend yet. It's still a while away. But I hope you all have a wonderful week. We'll catch you guys soon. And thank you all so much for stopping by. And we'll Puzzle Quest again probably in a couple weeks. Hopefully with a new game mode as well. That should be coming out by then. Should definitely be out by then. And we'll go from there. And other than that, we'll have our normal Gems of War stuff and go from there. Anyways, guys, catch you later. Thanks for stopping by and enjoy your week. Goodbye, everyone.